Chapter 408. The woman in red calmly watched as the golden leaves disappeared one by one. She was even more puzzled about the identity of the newcomer. What is the cultivation of this newcomer? There is something strange about this person. If it's just a void refinement realm cultivator or even a divine transformation realm cultivator, how could I not see through his disguise? If it was a void fragmentation expert, I certainly wouldn't be able to see through it. But which void fragmentation expert in the rain world would hide their head but show their tail to steal a mere golden bamboo leaf? If we want to steal something, it should be the dark gold bamboo leaves from the small kiliacosm. This is not logical. If this person isn't a void fragmentation realm expert, then is he a void refinement realm cultivator? A void refinement realm cultivator is able to evade the detection of my spirit sense. This person's concealment technique is quite brilliant. If I can make him my own, he might be of some use to me. But what's his background? Could he be an assassin from the Rain Palace? I don't know why, but I feel that this person's aura is a little familiar, as if I've seen him somewhere before. In the past, my physical body was destroyed and my primordial spirit was divided into 10,000 Thundergrass clones to deceive the world. Now, all 10,000 Thundergrass have been retrieved and I have gained 10,000 memories out of thin air. Among them, 9,999 were memories of plants and trees. However, one of them had accidentally transformed into a ghost body. As for my 10,000 spirits as one, that divine transformation realm Thundergrass clone was the main one, Ning Hong Hong. It's about time for me to abandon this identity. I just need to erase those unimportant memories. Otherwise, my sea of consciousness will definitely collapse due to the 10,000 Daos memories and 10,000 Daos consciousness. The red-clad woman waved her hand, and silver lightning crackled. Then she touched the sea of consciousness above her head, and the memories of the mortal world vanished like smoke in thin air. She didn't need those memories. She didn't need to remember that there was a period of time when she went by the name of Ning Hong Hong. She had an even more respected identity. If this person is only at the void refinement realm but he possesses such a heaven-defying concealment technique, I can join forces with him to obtain the dark golden bamboo leaf of that small kiliacosm. Looks like this person seems to be extremely interested in mere golden leaves. I can give all the golden leaves of this world to this person, and he will definitely submit to me wholeheartedly and work for me. Of course, the prerequisite is that this person has to provide me with enough dark gold leaves. The lady in red robes took a step forward and appeared beside Ning Fan. If he doesn't know what's good for him, I don't mind using some methods to make him regret it. She was also invisible, and her concealment skills were not bad either. She could not see Ning Fan and he could not see her. She could sense Ning Fan's presence and Ning Fan could also sense that a vague qi was approaching them. He could naturally guess that the one who approached him was the woman in red who had entered this world first. However, Ning Fan could not help but feel a little astonished. The reason why he could conceal himself so well was because of the heaven-deceiving cloak. What kind of supreme treasure did this woman rely on? Her concealment ability was actually not any weaker than his? Or was this woman proficient in the art of concealment? He vaguely understood that this woman had discovered him. He had to leave as soon as possible to avoid any unforeseen events. Unfortunately, before he could do anything, the woman in red suddenly appeared. Her murderous aura was shocking, and her blood-red eyes swept across the empty space in front of her. "Intruder, show yourself. Otherwise, I'll seal the golden lightning grotto heaven so that you won't be able to return." Boom! The red-clothed woman waved her hand. Immediately, heavenly lightning surged, and the world rumbled as if it was going to collapse. She seemed to be the master of this grotto heaven. All of a sudden, she summoned countless golden lightning bolts and turned them into lightning chains, sealing all the exits of the grotto heaven. Ning Fan's heart sank. The red-clothed woman's attacks were as fast as lightning. With just a casual attack, she had already sealed all of his escape routes. He did not know the identity of this woman and he did not plan to show himself obediently. He had already obtained 100 golden leaves which were enough to treat Yu Lingkong's injuries and could also help Luo Yu recover a lot of primordial spirit power. What's the point of staying here? The lightning chains that filled the sky seemed to be terrifying, but Ning Fan was not afraid of them. He had the wind mist finger. The lightning grotto heaven might be able to stop ordinary void refinement realm experts, but it could not stop Ning Fan's footsteps. This place was a place where he could come and go as he pleased. He could easily go to the dangerous places of the rain world. Ning Fan's figure flew backward. His body was surrounded by faint golden-purple wind mist. When the wind blew the golden lightning grotto heaven, the golden-purple wind mist descended upon heaven and earth. It was like a murmur from the ancient times, returning everything to ashes and dust to dust. That kind of terrifying samsara power was enough to bury everything. Countless lightning bolts and wind melted and died in the samsara cycle. Even the tightly sealed heavenly grotto heaven had no choice but to melt a gap. The cold eyes of the red-robed woman flashed with surprise. That golden-purple wind mist gave her a familiar yet fearful feeling. She did not expect that Ning Fan would have such a terrifying technique which could melt everything. He was about to escape. She did not care about some mere golden bamboo leaves. However, without Ning Fan, it would be difficult for her to obtain many dark golden bamboo leaves in the next world. From the looks of it, she needed to use other things to threaten Ning Fan to stay. Since one plan failed, another plan was devised. The blood-red eyes of the red-robed woman moved. She could vaguely tell that Ning Fan must have an extremely important reason for entering this place to steal the golden leaves despite the risk of offending the Zhou clan. In other words, the golden bamboo leaves were Ning Fan's weakness. Since she knew Ning Fan's weakness, she had a way to force Ning Fan to show himself and help her. The process might be a little despicable, but so what? Even if you run away, it's all in vain. I can shatter all the golden leaves in this world with just a single thought. You should know that every single golden leaf in this place has been engraved with my spirit sense. If you still don't show yourself and meet me, don't blame me for activating my spirit sense to shatter all the golden leaves. You know the consequences. What? Ning Fan's heart skipped a beat. He activated his Fu Li eye and took a closer look. There was indeed an extremely well-concealed spirit sense talisman on the golden leaves. Not only the golden leaves, but even the silver leaves that grow in the outside world also had imprints on them. The red-robed woman did not lie, nor was she joking. At the next moment, she activated her spirit sense and the 100 golden leaves in Ning Fan's hand trembled violently. Then, all of them turned into golden ashes and vanished into nothingness. The red-robed woman was also a decisive person. Even though the golden leaves were not very useful to her, they were still somewhat valuable. However, in order to make Ning Fan stay, she did not mind shattering 100 golden leaves to show her deterrence. If Ning Fan still does not show himself, she would activate her spirit sense again to shatter all the golden leaves in this place, making Ning Fan's wish fail and preventing him from rescuing the others. Perhaps in the end, the woman would not be able to force Ning Fan to show himself. However, Ning Fan would not be able to obtain even half of the golden leaves and save you Ling Kong no matter what. Let's go. This woman is not simple. She seems to have some ulterior motives towards you. Yu Ling Kong sent a telepathic message to Ning Fan with a frown. Compared to her own injuries, she was more worried that Ning Fan would fall into the woman's trap. She could vaguely tell that the woman's motive for forcing Ning Fan to show himself was not pure. If I leave just like that, what are you going to do? Ning Fan's eyes darkened. After a moment of hesitation, he made up his mind. He descended to the ground and flicked his sleeve, removing his cloak and revealing his true appearance. At the same time, he patted his storage pouch and took out 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets, trying to scare the red-robed woman a little. You've won. Ning Fan's face sank. For the sake of Yu Lingkong's injuries, he did not dare to let the red-robed woman shatter all the golden leaves in this place. Looking at the woman's appearance, which was similar to Ning Honghong's, Ning Fan became even more confused. Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets? 3 of them? Not bad. They are refined from realm beasts. Unfortunately, they are just half-finished products. Otherwise, just these 3 spiritual puppets are more than enough to topple the rain world. The red-robed woman glanced at the three spiritual puppets with cold eyes and nodded slightly as a form of approval. Then she glanced at the female corpse and Yu Lingkong. With just a glance at Yu Lingkong, she could immediately tell that her primordial spirit was injured. She thought to herself that the reason why Ning Fan stole the golden leaves must be for this woman. When she glanced at the female corpse, she was startled. She vaguely felt that the female corpse looked familiar. However, her memory had already been erased. She could not remember who the female corpse was. She thought to herself that the female corpse and I are probably just memories of the mortal world. But I don't care. The mortal world is like smoke. Why do I need to look back? If she doesn't erase her memory, her sea of consciousness would collapse when the 10,000 Tao of consciousness and the 10,000 Tao of consciousness merge into one. Eventually, the red-robed woman's gaze fell on Ning Fan. She was greatly surprised. Half-step void refinement realm? He isn't even at the early void refinement realm? She did not expect that an expert who could block her spirit sense was actually not even at the void refinement realm. She thought that he would at least be at the peak void refinement realm. I only came here to ask for the golden leaves. If you have any requests, just tell me. Ning Fan frowned. His words carried a hint of pleading. He had no choice. Yu Lingkong needed the golden leaves to save her life. Whether the golden leaves would be destroyed or not depended on the red-robed woman's will. If he wants to take the golden leaves to treat Yu Lingkong's injuries, he must first obtain her permission. If she refuses to give him the golden leaves, Ning Fan would not mind activating his steel of sun and moon to suppress her with a single strike and take the golden leaves by force. Even though it was a pity to use the void fragmentation realm attack of the steel of sun and moon. This red-robed woman looked quite similar to Ning Honghong, which made Ning Fan want to find out more about her. However, it was a matter of life and death. Ning Fan had no way out. In order to save Yu Lingkong, he must use the golden leaves. At most, Ning Fan would hold back his strength and not kill this woman. He would capture her for the time being and slowly investigate the relationship between her and Ning Honghong in the future. Yu Lingkong bit her lips and pulled Ning Fan away. She was very annoyed. She did not like to see Ning Fan beg others. In her memory, Ning Fan rarely begged others. The first time he begged someone was for the star-tempering purple zoysia. He asked his father-in-law, Man Xiong, for the medicine. Today was the second time Ning Fan begged someone. It was to save her. She was displeased. Extremely displeased. How could little cucumber beg others? He was so stubborn. Asking him to beg others was even more painful than being cut by a blade. Don't worry. Ning Fan stopped walking and stood in front of Yu Lingkong. His cold eyes swept across the red-robed woman. He had principles. However, some things were more important than principles. Moreover, he was not just begging her. His request was also threatening her. My name is Zhou Ming. She is Yu'er. Both of us are part of the 8 venerated beings of the Internal Sea. We already have the qualifications to obtain the golden leaves. Unfortunately, the Thunder Bamboo Island is currently sealed. I have no choice but to come up with this plan to steal the golden leaves. It's a bad plan, but my heart is determined. If you stop me, you will regret it. I must obtain this leaf. Ning Fan was already prepared to take action at any time. Even though the red-robed woman seemed to have other intentions towards him, Ning Fan was not afraid of her if the situation really escalates to the point of them fighting. Heh! How dare you threaten me? The red-robed woman frowned and the corners of her lips curled into a cold smile. She had never been threatened by anyone but Ning Fan did. This was an extremely laughable matter to her. According to her usual practice, she would directly kill the person who threatened her with a lightning bolt when she was humiliated. However, she had a hint of softness towards Ning Fan from the bottom of her heart. She did not know why. Even though her memories were erased, she always felt that she had met Ning Fan before. In a sense, this red-robed woman was also Ning Honghong. As for Ning Honghong, she had a close relationship with Ning Fan. Unfortunately, the red-robed woman could not remember Ning Fan in the end. She was also too lazy to remember him. Towards Ning Fan's threat, she turned her cold eyes away and ignored it in the end. There are already 8 venerated beings in the Internal Sea. Time flies. Fine. Since you are the venerated beings of the internal sea, you are also considered as one of us. I can forgive you for stealing the medicinal herbs. However, I have a condition. If you agree to this condition, all the golden leaves here will belong to you and you can use them to treat Hong Yen. Even if it's the more precious black gold leaves, I can also give you some. Condition? What condition? Ning Fan's eyes softened slightly. It would be best if he could exchange the golden leaves with a condition. He could tell that the identity of this red-robed woman was not ordinary. She might have some kind of relationship with Ning Honghong. Thus, Ning Fan would not kill her. If Ning Fan captures or injures this woman, he would certainly not rest until the Zhou clan is annihilated. I heard that Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou is still alive. If I kill this woman and offend that old monster, I will certainly be hunted down by him until I die. The gains would not make up for the losses. Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou was an old thing that even the Rain Sovereign was afraid of. He was an existence who could fight against the 3 sovereigns of the Sword World alone. Don't worry. I am just asking you to help me pluck some leaves. Due to some reasons, I need some black gold bamboo leaves. These leaves are more precious than the golden leaves. However, they are difficult to pluck. With my current condition, it is especially unsuitable for me to take the risk to pluck the bamboo leaves. You can ask the cultivators of the Zhou clan to pluck the leaves for you. Why did you choose me to help you? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with uncertainty. That small kiliocosm is a little special. If one's concealment technique is not strong enough, even entering that place would be a problem. Even a void refinement realm expert might die directly. To be honest, your appearance just happened to solve my problem. If you can help me, not only will I not blame you for stealing my medicine, but I will also owe you a favor. With my order, the Zhou clan will thank you for your kindness and we will become your backing in the Endless Sea. You should understand the meaning behind it. A favor? Become my backing? Who exactly are you? How can you make the Zhou clan, which has a profound background, listen to you? Ning Fan nodded his head slightly. This woman was indeed someone with a high status in the Zhou clan. Since she could make the Zhou clan protect a junior, she was probably at least someone close to Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou. If he has the support of the Zhou clan, Ning Fan could be said to have a smooth sailing in the Endless Sea. No one would certainly dare to offend him. At the same time, a bold idea rose in Ning Fan's mind. If I follow the clues and gain Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou's favor through this woman, I wonder if I can ask the Thunder Sovereign to deal with Moksha Sovereign. Yun Tianjue defeated the Sword Sovereign with a single sword attack. His strength was comparable to Moksha Sovereign's. The Thunder Sovereign fought against the 3 sovereigns of the Sword World without being defeated. This kind of achievement was even more impressive than Yun Tianjue's. One Thunder Sovereign was probably equivalent to at least 3 Moksha Sovereigns. With the Thunder Sovereign's help, Ning Fan would have a greater chance of getting rid of Moksha Sovereign. For the battle against the ancient heavenly court, Ning Fan needed void fragmentation realm experts to help him. If he could rope in any of them, he would be willing to give it a try. Even though the idea was good, he could only think about it casually. Putting aside the fact that the Thunder Sovereign was in a strange state of life and death, he was also unable to leave the Lightning Tomb. Even if the Thunder Sovereign could move freely, why must he help a junior like Ning Fan? There was no free lunch in this world. In order to get the Thunder Sovereign's help, just having a favorable impression of the Zhou clan was far from enough. The lady's request for Ning Fan to pluck the dark golden bamboo leaves did not sound difficult. However, there must be countless dangers involved. Ning Fan was well aware of that. If it's for Yu Lingkong's sake, he could even risk it. I promise you that I will help you pluck the bamboo leaves. However, there are some details that you should tell me in advance. For example, the difficulty of plucking the dark golden bamboo leaves, the dangers that you might encounter, and who you are. What does my identity have to do with you? The lady in red robe's tone was cold. Ning Fan frowned. He just wanted to know the relationship between this lady and Ning Honghong. That was all. Since you must know, there's no harm in telling you. I am the daughter of Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou, Hong Yi. Are you satisfied now? The daughter of Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou. Miss Hong Yi, May I ask if you know a woman whose name is Ning Honghong? Ning Fan cupped his fists and asked. I don't. Hong Yi's tone was cold. Her memory was completely erased. Naturally, she did not remember anyone called Ning Honghong. Even if she remembered, so what? Ning Honghong was just one of her 10,000 clones. She was just a tuft of lightning grass that had taken human form. That was all. Would Hong Yi get involved with Ning Fan just because of one of her clones? She wouldn't. With her identity, it was destined that she would not get involved with any man. Ning Honghong was just a past that had a deep blood feud. Today, her name was Hong Yi. Chapter 409. Hong Yi rarely spoke. She remained silent, as if she was cold and arrogant. He led Ning Fan to collect all the bamboo leaves in the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling. Naturally, these bamboo leaves were still with her temporarily. It was impossible for her to hand them over to Ning Fan. She could also tell that Ning Fan's golden purple mist had some background. It was not difficult for him to dissolve the spirit sense imprint of the bamboo leaves. Hong Yi's cold eyes narrowed as she thought about the purple golden mist. She seemed to have some thoughts in her mind. She hesitated for a moment before she shook her head as if she had rejected the idea. Yu Lingkong and the female corpse had both recalled their cauldron ring. As for the 3 spiritual puppets, he also kept them away. He agreed to Hong Yi's request. He knew that after Hong Yi collected all the golden leaves, she would lead him to the small kiliacosm to collect the dark golden bamboo leaves of a higher grade. That small kiliacosm was probably really filled with dangers. Therefore, even Ning Fan did not dare to bring the 2 ladies along with him. Hong Yi's frown, cold eyes, contemplation and denial did not escape Ning Fan's observation. Ning Fan secretly activated the yin-yang locket, trying to use the mind-reading technique to see through this woman's thoughts. However, there seemed to be tens of thousands of lightning bolts in this woman's heart, shielding her from the heavens, making it impossible to pry into her heart. The mind-reading technique is ineffective, huh? Ning Fan knitted his brows, feeling that this lady was not ordinary at all. Moreover, when he activated the mind-reading technique, Hong Yi seemed to have sensed it. Her eyes turned even colder, and her blood-red eyes were filled with murderous intent. You dare pry into my heavenly secrets? If there is a next time, you will die. A gush of baleful chi that was completely unbefitting of his void refinement realm cultivation base swept across the sky, dyeing the golden lightning in the sky red. The deafening claps of thunder were deafening. Being in the middle of the lightning might, Ning Fan felt as tiny as a withered leaf in the wind. Inwardly, he was startled and took half a step back. His eyes turned cold and he also summoned his terrifying baleful chi. It was the baleful chi of this woman in the past. Boom. As the 2 auras clashed, Hong Yi did not move even half a step. However, her cold eyes were slightly moved. As for Ning Fan, he retreated a few hundred steps along with the collision of his aura. Every step he took caused the ground to collapse. In the end, he stabilized his footsteps. His aura shook, and the ferocious might of Hong Yi dissipated. However, he was unscathed. Although he wasn't injured, he couldn't help but feel shocked. This woman's pressure was earth-shattering. There was probably no one below the void fragmentation realm who could remain unmoved under the pressure of this woman. If the Thunder Sovereign was at his peak, he would be the strongest in the rain world. If this woman was the daughter of the Thunder Sovereign, even if she was only at the early void refinement realm, she would most likely be invincible among void refinement realm experts. I've underestimated this woman. The 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets won't be able to withstand a single attack from her at all. The only thing that can withstand her attack is the steel of sun and moon. With a trump card to protect himself, Ning Fan was naturally calm. Hong Yi could not help but look at him in a higher light when she saw how calm he was. In her long life, she had seen many young experts. However, she had never seen someone like Ning Fan who could resist her baleful chi and ferocious might without showing any change in his expression. Hong Yi's cold gaze softened as her killing intent dissipated. She said coldly, "There will be no next time." This lady's strength had far exceeded his estimation. If it's not necessary, he also did not want to anger her before obtaining the golden leaf. Since he couldn't pry into this woman's thoughts using the mind-reading technique, he decided not to use it again. Between the two of them, there was no more conversation. The atmosphere was quite heavy. Hong Yi was still as cold as ice from the beginning to the end. Ning Fan did not talk to her as he was worried that he might say something wrong and anger her again. As for Ning Fan, he was secretly weighing the pros and cons. Half a day later, all the golden lightning bamboo leaves in the heavenly dwelling were collected. Hong Yi did not look relaxed at all. On the contrary, her cold eyes began to turn solemn. There are a total of 7,150 golden leaves in this heavenly dwelling. They are the original purpose of my trip. However, if you can help me collect 7 pieces of dark golden bamboo leaves, I can give you all of these golden leaves. This heavenly dwelling is called the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling. It's used to plant golden lightning bamboos. However, there's also the dark golden lightning bamboo which is planted in the black lightning realm of the small Kiliacosm. In the past, only my father was qualified to enjoy the dark golden bamboo leaves. You're very lucky. If you help me collect more than 7 pieces of bamboo leaves, I can consider giving you some of them. Ning Fan did not say much or ask any questions. He also knew that there was no room for negotiation. Hong Yi nodded her head in satisfaction at Ning Fan's attitude. She led him to the peak of a gigantic golden mountain which was surrounded by tens of thousands of lightning bolts. There were so many golden lightning bolts. Even though they were not as powerful as the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation, their destructive power was still extraordinary. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with desire. If I refine the spirit-shattering whip with these golden lightning bolts, it might be able to break through to the void treasure realm. You want these golden lightning bolts? Hong Yi saw through Ning Fan's thoughts with just a glance. How would I dare? If you want them, just say it. You are somewhat useful to me. It's not like I can't give you some golden lightning bolts. However, do you have a lightning treasure to collect lightning bolts? Hong Yi's eyes flashed with a hint of disdain. She did not like people who say one thing but mean another. Ning Fan was slightly surprised. The golden lightning bolts that filled the sky were actually given to him by Hong Yi without much thought. One had to know that if Ning Fan takes away all the golden lightning bolts, the heavenly dwelling of the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling would become a wasteland and the golden bamboos would no longer be able to grow leaves. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Fan also understood why Hong Yi was so generous. Hong Yi needed his help while Ning Fan needed her to give him the golden leaves. Both of them had a mutually beneficial relationship. However, Hong Yi had forced Ning Fan previously, which hurt their relationship after all. She was using the golden lightning bolts to repair their relationship. Even though the golden lightning bamboos were precious, Hong Yi's standards were higher. She did not think much of them in the first place. She did not care whether the golden lightning bamboos could continue to grow or not. Since Hong Yi was willing to give the golden lightning bolts to Ning Fan, there was no reason for him to reject it. Lightning treasures were needed to collect lightning bolts. As for lightning treasures, Ning Fan still had them. He touched his glabella and a blood-red lightning whip shadow appeared. It was the spirit-shattering whip. As soon as the whip appeared, the blood-red lightning crackled, causing Hong Yi's cold eyes to flicker. Blood lightning? She did not expect that Ning Fan actually had a lightning treasure which was surrounded by the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation. One should know that this type of lightning was a little special. Ordinary people could not control it. Strange. In the rain world, other than the bloodline of the lightning sovereign, no one should be able to control it. Hong Yi stretched out her hand and beckoned. The lightning whip which was lying quietly in Ning Fan's hand obediently floated up and flew into her hand. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. It was his first time being snatched away by someone empty-handed. Before he could ask for the lightning whip back, Hong Yi shook her head and smiled disdainfully. Don't worry. I won't be interested in the trashy, magic treasure of a junior. She emphasized the word trashy very accurately. Trashy? Ning Fan's eyes turned gloomy. It was his first time being criticized by someone for the magic treasure he refined. His tool refinement technique was indeed not the best in the rain world. However, even ordinary void refinement realm old monsters might not be as good as him. After all, he had obtained ancient chaos's incomplete memories. The spirit-shattering whip which he refined was definitely a rare treasure. It had helped him kill his enemies time and time again, making them tremble in fear. This treasure might not have extraordinary abilities, but it was definitely not trash. If the opponent doesn't have a treasure, will this treasure still be useful? Hong Yi did not argue with him. She just pointed out the abilities and drawbacks of the spirit-shattering whip with just a few words. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly serious. He thought to himself, this Hong Yi's eyesight is rather sharp. She is the first person who can see through all the abilities of the spirit-shattering whip with just a single glance. Could it be that this woman who is full of killing intent is a tool refinement grandmaster? Your puppet is not bad. Even though it is only a half-finished product, its technique is extremely brilliant. It is at least at the standard of a true immortal. At first, I thought you were the one who refined it. Now, it seems like the one who refined it is someone else. Your tool refinement technique sucks. Ning Fan was mocked once again. However, he was no longer angry. He could already tell that Hong Yi's tool refinement technique and puppet refinement technique were probably extremely profound. With just a glance at the three puppets, she was able to tell that they were refined by a true immortal. Her eyesight was indeed sharp. What is the name of this treasure? Hong asked coldly. Spirit-shattering whip. Spirit-shattering whip is a very good ability. However, it is not enough to just use this treasure to shatter it. 10,000 lightning in the heavens, Tai Su defense. From today onwards, this treasure will be renamed as the White Lightning Whip. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes flashed. She raised her head and looked at the sky. That gaze of hers actually made all the golden lightning in the sky tremble in fear. She waved the lightning whip in her hand. With a wave of her hand, the lightning whip abruptly turned into blood-red lightning and shattered. The immemorial stars contained within the whip also reassembled. With a point of her jade-like finger, the blood-red lightning suddenly turned into blood-red lightning flames and engulfed the immemorial stars. Traces of lightning power turned into lightning runes in the shape of profound wings, emitting a vast and desolate chi. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the lightning whip was reassembled. Its ability was still the same. However, what was different now was that the blood-red lightning on the whip was as dazzling as the aurora in the starry sky. Moreover, the grade of the lightning whip had already broken through to the grade of a mortal void treasure. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. Hong Yi had actually improved the grade of the lightning whip just by making some minor changes to it. Without a doubt, it meant that Hong Yi's tool refinement technique had far surpassed Ning Fan's standard. The destructive power of the lightning whip that she had just refined was also far above Ning Fan's. I have refined this whip with the white lightning. From today onwards, if I want to shatter someone's primordial spirit, I don't need their magic treasures anymore. I just need to gather lightning in the whip and I can shatter their primordial spirit. Boom! Hong Yi fiercely lashed the whip at the sky as if she was whipping the heavens. Even though the might of the golden lightning in the sky was strong, it was directly shattered into countless pieces by her whip. For the second time, the lightning rays were all shattered into light spots. For the third time, traces of light spots were forcibly absorbed into the lightning whip. As the traces of golden lightning entered the whip, the grade of the lightning whip increased once again. It actually showed signs of advancing to the mid-grade mortal void treasure. In the sky above the heavenly dwelling, the bloody scars caused by the lightning whip could not be healed. The destructive power of a single whip was enough to kill a half-step void refinement realm expert. The destructive power of 3 whips was enough to injure even an early void refinement realm expert. Take it. Hong Yi casually tossed the lightning whip to Ning Fan as if she was giving it to him as a gift. Ning Fan caught the lightning whip. As soon as he held it, he could feel that the lightning power of this whip was more than 100 times stronger than before after it had devoured the golden lightning. In the past, the lightning power was too weak. It could only be used on magic treasures to attack one's primordial spirit. From today onwards, a single whip in the sky had the ability to shatter one's primordial spirit. This whip had leaped from an auxiliary magic treasure to a supreme killing tool. Thank you, Miss Hong Yi, for refining this treasure for me. Your tool refinement technique is so brilliant that it makes me feel ashamed of my inferiority. Ning Fan admitted that he was weak. Other than cultivation, he was only proficient in pill refinement and formation techniques. He did not have any extra thoughts to cultivate his tool refinement technique. Miss Hong Yi sneered as if she had just heard a funny title. You don't have to thank me. The reason why I refine this treasure for you is so that it will be more convenient for us in the future. There are many lightning spirits in the Black Lightning realm. With this white lightning whip, you can kill many of them. You guard me while I open the Black Lightning realm. Hong Yi's tone left no room for refusal. As soon as she finished speaking, she immediately formed a hand seal and forcefully tore open a realm filled with rolling black lightning on the mountain peak. It was as if she was not afraid that Ning Fan would launch a sneak attack on her when she was unprepared. It was a kind of confidence that only an absolute expert would have. It was already difficult for a void fragmentation realm expert to have such confidence. It was really strange for a void refinement realm cultivator to have such confidence. Thinking about it carefully, even though this Hong Yi's mouth was vicious, she was just speaking the truth. Her eyes were cold and arrogant, but she did not have any evil intentions. After helping Ning Fan refine the lightning whip, it seemed like the previous offense she had towards him could be written off. What was left was only the cooperation between the two of them. The Black Lightning realm is about to open. Prepare to enter the realm stealthily. Don't let the Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit notice us. Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. A Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit. Isn't that equivalent to a late Void Refinement Realm being? Every step after the Void Refinement Realm was a world of difference. A Void Inquiry Stage Cultivator could control the power of the Void, while a Void Pierce Stage Cultivator could borrow the power of the Void to nourish their Qi at the Void Pierce stage and obtain an inexhaustible amount of Void magic power. The late Void Refinement Realm and the mid-Void Refinement Realm was the real dividing line. A late-stage cultivator might not necessarily lose even if he were to fight 10 mid-stage cultivators alone. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. It seems like this Black Lightning realm is really dangerous. Immediately, he activated the heaven-deceiving cloak without any hesitation. As for Hong Yi, her figure slowly faded away. However, she was still transmitting her voice to Ning Fan, letting him know their location. Enter the realm. Hong Yi and Ning Fan turned invisible and entered the Black Lightning realm. In an instant, more than 10 ancient spirit senses swept past the entrance of the Black Lightning realm in a domineering manner. Each of them had the might of a late Void Refinement realm cultivator. Who dares to barge into the realm? Boom! The immense pressure turned into a lightning force that shook the heavens and the earth, blasting into Ning Fan's eardrums. All of a sudden, Ning Fan felt a sharp pain in his sea of consciousness as if it was about to shatter. Chapter 410. The thunderous roars of more than 10 Void Pierce Stage lightning spirits were extremely tyrannical. If it wasn't for Ning Fan's powerful sword sense, his sea of consciousness would certainly be shattered by that roar and he would be buried in the Black Lightning realm. His sword sense was stable, but he still suffered serious injuries. Fortunately, Ning Fan had refined 99 natal stars. Under the healing effect of the star technique, his sea of consciousness had already recovered at an unimaginable speed. After that roar, the entrance to the Black Lightning realm disappeared. When the dozen or so thunder spirits saw that their roar didn't shake anyone out, they knew that the newcomer had been shaken back. The surroundings gradually became quiet, and only the sound of thunder could be heard. Only then did Ning Fan notice that the ground beneath his feet was black while the sky above his head was covered with black thunderclouds. Every single trace of the black lightning in the dark clouds contained a terrifying lightning power that could kill a half-step Void Refinement realm expert. It must never be touched. In the sky that was filled with black lightning, there were a total of 14 black lightning ferocious beasts. All of them had terrifying cultivation bases at the late void refinement realm. Each vicious beast was bound by a black lightning chain, restricting their movements. The black lightning chain shot out from the clouds and connected to the sky. Bound by the chains, the 14 ferocious beasts could only walk within 5,000 kilometers of the entrance. They could not go any further. Who is so powerful to actually lock 14 late void refinement realm demonic beasts here to guard the entrance of the Black Lightning realm? With Ningfan's eyesight, he could tell that it was the master of the Black Lightning realm who wanted to lock these ferocious beasts in this place. To guard the door. Other than Thunder Emperor Buzhou, is there anyone else who could be so domineering? Hong Yi, who was hidden at the side, spoke with a calm tone, as if she was talking about something that had nothing to do with her. Judging from his tone, he wasn't injured by the thunderous roar at all. Ningfan's eyes darkened. Sure enough, this woman has hidden her strength well. Once they were 10,000 miles away from the entrance, they would be in a safe zone. Even late-stage dire beasts would not be able to reach this distance. The divine sense of a late-stage ferocious beast could cover an area of 500,000 miles. Only when they were 1 million li away did Ningfan and Hong Yi appear one after another. It wasn't their original intention to reveal themselves. It was just that there were already quite a few black lightning bamboos growing at this distance. Every single thunder bamboo flickered with black lightning. The thunder bamboo in the center was especially large, and its lightning energy was also the most terrifying. Even though he was 10,000 zhang away from Ningfan, he was able to use his lightning power to force Ningfan out of concealment. This is the dark golden lightning bamboo. Ningfan's eyes turned cold. Just the central thunder bamboo alone was at least 1 million feet tall. How was this bamboo? It was clearly a bamboo mountain. There were countless black lightning bolts on top of the bamboo mountain, giving Ningfan an extremely dangerous feeling. None of the thunder bamboos had any leaves growing on them. Only at the highest point of the central thunder bamboo was a black teleportation array formed from the power of thunder. It was the closest to the thunderclouds in the sky, and it was unknown where it led to. Ningfan scanned the area with his spirit sense. He detected nearly 10,000 traces of extremely obscure qi from this central lightning bamboo. These auras were similar to the 14 ferocious beasts, but they were much weaker. All of them had terrifying auras above the nascent soul level. Among the 10,000 traces of qi, there was no lack of divine transformation realm qi. Of course, what Ningfan feared the most was that there were actually 4 traces of void refinement realm qi on a single lightning bamboo. As soon as they sensed Ningfan and Hong Yi's presence, countless lightning spirits gave off dangerous hostility. Ningfan's eyes turned solemn. If he recklessly approaches the giant bamboo in the center, he would certainly face a tough battle. The dark golden bamboo leaf is not here? Ningfan asked doubtfully. That's right. This is only the lower world of the Black Lightning realm. The dark gold bamboo leaves grow above the thunderclouds. Above the thunderclouds? Ningfan raised his head and looked at the sky. Not only were the black thunderclouds extremely dangerous, but they were also at least 1 million zhang thick. No cultivator below the void fragmentation realm could forcefully pass through the black thunderclouds and reach the world above the thunderclouds. Don't worry. I'm not asking you to pass through the sea of lightning directly. I'm asking you to use the lightning teleportation formation on the central lightning bamboo to reach the upper cloud world. If you go there, you will naturally be able to pluck the dark golden bamboo leaves for me. Teleportation formation, huh? Ningfan nodded his head. He naturally noticed the teleportation formation on the top of the central lightning bamboo. If he uses this formation, he might be able to reach the upper cloud world safely. However, Ningfan still had a doubt in his mind that he could not answer. Hong Yi was very powerful. She totally had the ability to break into the Black Lightning realm by herself, climb to the top of the central lightning bamboo and pass through the teleportation formation to reach the cloud world. She did not seem to have any reason to ask for his help. As if she had seen through Ningfan's doubts, Hong Yi frowned and explained. Can't you see that I have the body of a primordial spirit? The body of a primordial spirit? Ningfan was stunned. He activated his Fu Li eye, and only then did he notice a trace of abnormality on Hong Yi's body. Hong Yi's body was not a real physical body. Instead, it was an extremely condensed primordial spirit which was similar to Luo Yu's. Such a condensed primordial spirit was almost no different from a real body. In addition, Ning Fan did not investigate her background in order to avoid her dissatisfaction. Thus, he could not identify the nature of her primordial spirit. As soon as he found out that she was a primordial spirit, Ning Fan's doubts were instantly resolved. The primordial spirit was the foundation of a cultivator. If the physical body is injured or destroyed, a cultivator could still use the primordial spirit to rebuild his physical body or even seize another body to be reborn. However, if the primordial spirit is destroyed, it would mean the death of the cultivator. Unfortunately, the primordial spirit was not like the physical body, which had a strong defense and was easily damaged. The cloud world in the upper cloud world was quite dangerous. Hong Yi was a primordial spirit. Naturally, she had her concerns and was unwilling to put her primordial spirit in danger. If I didn't meet you, my original plan was to consume all the golden leaves in the golden lightning heavenly dwelling and recover to the mid-void refinement realm. Then, I would enter the black lightning realm to eliminate a late void refinement realm ferocious beast and turn it into a puppet to pluck the bamboo leaves for me in the cloud world. However, doing so would waste a lot of time. Secondly, due to the uniqueness of the cloud world, it is very difficult for a puppet to successfully pluck the bamboo leaves in the cloud world. Fortunately, you appeared. This is great. You have saved me a lot of trouble. Even though your cultivation base is not high, you have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. You are more useful than a puppet. Hong Yi's tone was calm, but she did not hide her intention at all. She was just using Ning Fan to take the risk for her. Since she was using him, there was no need for her to hide anything. After she made herself clear, Ning Fan held his chin and pondered for a while. From the looks of it, Hong Yi's motive was pure. It was just for the dark golden bamboo leaves. Just by saying a few words, she revealed the information about recovering her cultivation base. It was enough for Ning Fan to conclude that this lady was probably similar to Luo Yu. She was severely injured and her primordial spirit was injured. She could recover her strength by recovering her primordial spirit. In that case, this lady probably had the strength of a late void refinement realm or even a peak void refinement realm expert. That was why she had such a terrifying aura force and baleful chi. Ning Fan stared at the lightning bamboo in the center and his eyes became even more solemn. What made him serious was not the 10,000 concealed lightning spirits but the lightning teleportation formation. This formation led directly to the cloud world in the upper layer. He did not know what kind of dangers there were in the cloud world. Even Hong Yi was afraid of it and did not dare to enter it. If he went in, wouldn't he have a slim chance of survival? Since things had developed to this stage, it was impossible for him to back out or regret his decision. However, he needed to understand the cloud world in the upper layer and figure out how to harvest the dark golden bamboo leaves and what kind of dangers there were. Moreover, there was one more thing. If he helps Hong Yi, what if she turns against him and burns the bridge after crossing it? I can help you, but who is going to guarantee my safety? What kind of guarantee do you want? Hong Yi asked coldly. Give me all the information about the cloud world in the upper layer. I need to know how dangerous it is to ascend to the cloud world. This request is not too much. The information is here. You can make your own judgment. In my opinion, your physical body is not weak. If you ascend to the cloud world, there is at least a 90% chance of you surviving unscathed. You don't have to worry about the dangers. I'm just concerned about how many bamboo leaves you can harvest. 7 leaves might be a little difficult for you, but I need at least 7 leaves. As soon as Hong Yi finished speaking, her lightning power condensed into a jade slip. She imprinted her memories into it and passed it to Ning Fan. Ning Fan received the jade slip and carefully read it. The doubts in his eyes gradually disappeared. Luckily, the cloud world was not as dangerous as he imagined. Hong Yi had still underestimated Ning Fan. With Ning Fan's means, he was 100% sure that he would not die in the cloud world. However, the difficulty of harvesting the bamboo leaves was indeed very high. Above the cloud world, there was a black lightning bamboo tower. Inside the tower, there were black lightning bamboo leaves. There were also black lightning undead spirits sealed in the tower. The black lightning bamboo tower had a total of 100 floors. Each floor was formed by a bamboo joint. There was a bamboo leaf growing on each of the first 10 levels. In the tower, the undead spirits would be stronger the higher one went. After reaching the 5th floor, there would be void refinement realm undead spirits. Ning Fan had to kill his way to the 7th floor at least in order to obtain the bamboo leaves. What he needed to be careful about was that these undead spirits were proficient in attacking one's primordial spirit. When a cultivator enters the tower, he must be especially careful not to injure his primordial spirit. This was the reason why Hong Yi was afraid of him. Outside the tower, there were 3 more levels. These 3 levels tested a cultivator's Dao heart and Dao comprehension. If undead creatures like corpse refinement puppets come here, it would be difficult for them to even pass the first 3 levels. Naturally, it would be even more difficult for them to enter the tower and harvest the bamboo leaves. Hong Yi's original plan was to refine a late void refinement realm spiritual puppet and forcefully break through the 3 levels to enter the tower. However, with Ning Fan here, it would be much easier for him to pass the 3 levels and enter the tower with his current cultivation level. Even though Hong Yi did not think highly of Ning Fan's treasure refinement technique, she was still quite certain about his strength. There were not many cultivators in the entire rain world who could withstand her baleful qi. Since Ning Fan could do this, he was at least much more reliable than the few subordinates of the Zhou clan. Of course, considering the difficulty of Ning Fan obtaining the bamboo leaves, Hong Yi also had a secret technique for him. With this secret technique, Ning Fan's safety could be increased once again. This technique is the compensation for taking the risk for me. Hong Yi condensed another jade slip and imprinted some information on it before giving it to Ning Fan. This is, Ning Fan received the jade slip and scanned it with his spirit sense. Immediately, his expression changed. Primordial lightning armor. Primordial lightning, as the name suggested, was lightning that condensed from the power of one's primordial spirit. By condensing a primordial lightning armor with the power of primordial lightning, it could protect one's primordial spirit. It was much stronger than ordinary spiritual equipment and it could effectively defend against the attacks of the undead spirits. With this secret technique, Ning Fan undoubtedly had another method to protect his primordial spirit. Not only could the primordial lightning armor protect one's primordial spirit, but it could also be used on one's physical body to increase one's defense. When this technique is cultivated to its peak, the highest grade lightning armor that can be condensed can even defend against a void fragmentation realm strike. Ning Fan pondered inwardly. The grade of this technique has probably reached the immortal void realm. It's a void fragmentation realm defensive technique. I'll accept this technique. My journey to the cloud world will not be dangerous anymore. Besides, I'm quite confident in obtaining the 7 bamboo leaves. However, I still have a concern. How can you guarantee that you won't burn the bridge after the task is accomplished? If you don't give me the golden lightning bamboo leaves and even order the Zhou clan to hunt me down and kill me, it will be very difficult for me to resist them with the Zhou clan's background. Guarantee? Do you want me to make a great oath of heart devil for you? Hong Yi's eyes turned cold. If that's the case, it will be even better. Ning Fan was not afraid at all. Hong Yi's cold eyes softened. She calmed down a little. If an ordinary person asks her to make an oath, she would certainly slap him to death out of impatience. However, Ning Fan was different. To her, Ning Fan was not only useful for a single use. Obtaining the bamboo leaves was just a small matter. Ning Fan's golden purple mist might still be of great use to Hong Yi. All right. I can make an exception and swear that I won't turn against you after the matter is over. However, you have to swear too. I have to swear too. Ning Fan was stunned. You have to swear that if I have something to ask of you in the future, you must not refuse me as long as it's within your capabilities. You have to help me once. You must be joking, Mississippi. With your status in the Zhou clan, why would you need my help? Just as Ning Fan was about to reject her, Hong Yi waved her hand and interrupted him in an old-fashioned manner. Don't worry. The matter that I'm asking for your help definitely won't be dangerous at all. I just need to borrow your golden purple mist to dissolve a seal. That's all. Besides, when the time comes, I will certainly give you something that will move your heart. If it's just to dissolve a seal and there are great benefits in it, it's not impossible for me to make a simple oath. Ning Fan frowned. He could already tell that Hong Yi in front of him was the same as him. Both of them were people who did not want to be at a disadvantage. If he did not swear, Hong Yi would not do so either. The one who was at a disadvantage and had no guarantee of his safety was only Ning Fan. Fortunately, Ning Fan could tell that this lady still wanted to use his wind mist technique. Since he still had value to her, there was no need to burn the bridge after crossing it. Since things had come to this, there was no other choice. Hong Yi and Ning Fan each swore an oath of Heart Devil. To the two of them, making an oath was a rare thing. However, they had no choice but to do it. Hong Yi glanced at Ning Fan from the corner of her eyes. She did not find his request troublesome. If it's her who was in a weaker position, she would certainly have a lot of concerns. Young man, you have gotten what you want. Now, isn't it time for you to put in some effort? There are 4 early Void Refinement Realm lightning spirits in the central lightning bamboo. I'll kill 3 of them while you block one. Can you do it? In order to ascend to the Cloud Realm, one must first kill their way to the peak of the central lightning bamboo. Hong Yi had already begun assigning tasks to everyone. She did not expect Ning Fan to be able to kill the lightning spirit at all even if he had 3 puppets with him. It was not that he looked down on Ning Fan. It was just that the mission of killing a Void Refinement Realm expert was too difficult for a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. Just blocking? Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and summoned 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. It was really not difficult for them to stop an early Void Refinement Realm being. However, he seemed to have been underestimated by Hong Yi. He did not only have the strength to stop Void Refinement Realm experts. Go. Hong Yi took a step forward. Her delicate little feet shook the earth within 100,000 miles, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A baleful aura soared into the sky and a ferocious aura spread out, shocking all beasts within 100,000 li. The tens of thousands of thunder spirit beasts hidden in the center of the thunder bamboo were shaken out by the pressure. For a time, the world was filled with a dense mass of giant beasts. In their terror, they let out a desperate roar. Even if they were afraid, they would defend and fight to the death. No one was allowed to invade the upper layer of the cloud world. Chapter 411. In the vast sky, ferocious beasts were as numerous as the clouds. Every single one of them was charging at Ning Fan and Hong Yi with reckless abandon. 10,000 nascent beasts, 100 wild beasts and 4 early-stage imaginary beasts. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes revealed a cold killing intent. With a flick of her hand, all the ferocious beasts that got close to her were killed by the lightning. Regardless of whether they were nascent soul beasts or wild beasts, none of them could withstand a single strike from her. With just one step, she strangely appeared in front of a faux beast. Xiao Chen pointed with her finger, and rings of scarlet lightning spread out in the air, striking the faux beast. The lightning was too fast. The faux beast could not dodge at all. In the blink of an eye, the void beast's flesh was scorched. It howled as it fell into the clouds, the pain difficult to understand. A dignified early-stage faux beast had actually been severely injured by the red-clothed woman in a single exchange. The remaining 3 faux beasts immediately realized that Hong Yi was their greatest enemy and surrounded her. They let out furious roars that shook the clouds. The 3 beasts were all tens of thousands of zhang in size. They spat out black lightning from their mouths and formed 100,000 sharp divine weapons. Killing intent surged as they hacked towards the red clothes. Every divine weapon was comparable to a peak nascent level treasure. Even an early Void Refinement Realm cultivator would find it difficult to defend against the attacks of 100,000 nascent treasures. At that moment, the light of treasures covered the entire sky. However, The corners of Red Dress's mouth curled up into a disdainful smile. She flipped her fair palm and said coldly, "Lightning wielder art, wielding 5 thunders." Her soft palm was delicate as if it had no bones, but the power of a flip seemed to be enough to overturn the heavens. At this moment, Hong Yi seemed to have become the master of all lightning. With a flip of her palm, 100,000 lightning soldiers trembled in fear. In the next moment, the power of lightning flowed out and shattered. With a flip of his hand, he overturned the heavens and broke the combined attack of the 3 void beasts. Controlling the 5 thunders with a single palm was the same lightning-controlling secret technique that had strangely snatched away the soul-shattering whip. Even though Hong Yi had injured 1 beast in an instant and defeated 3 beasts with brute force, she did not feel proud at all. There was only disdain in her eyes. To her, an early-stage foe beast was just an ant, unable to withstand a single blow. Even if she won, she would not be happy. Her eyes shifted to Ning Fan and said coldly, "You will deal with that injured void beast. As for the 10,000 lightning spirit ants, you will eliminate them." "Are you looking down on me?" Ning Fan's eyes flickered. What Hong Yi asked him to deal with was just a severely injured void refinement realm beast. Even so, Hong Yi still did not expect Ning Fan to be able to kill this beast. In Hong Yi's eyes, the 3 semi-finished puppets were merely passable. As for Ning Fan's strength, he had yet to attain the void refinement realm. Perhaps, he could not even get Hong Yi's approval. The daughter of the Thunder Sovereign is indeed powerful and arrogant. The way you look at puppets and magical treasures is indeed very sharp. However, the way you look at me doesn't seem to be that sharp. Underestimating me is a mistake, Ning Fan muttered to himself in his heart. However, he did not say anything else. To prove his strength, he did not rely on his mouth. To win the respect of others, he did not rely on arguing. He used his spiritual will to control the puppets, and the 3 puppets instantly turned into smoke and escaped. They surrounded the injured virtual beast and fiercely smashed down with their fists. The earth-shattering fist auras shattered the ground. The mountains and rivers collapsed just like that. Unfortunately, the 3 puppets lacked a sure kill technique. Although they had beaten the void beast to the point that its blood flowed like a river and the earth shook, they were still unable to kill the ferocious beast with a single strike. That void beast was first heavily injured by the red-clothed lightning, and then it was besieged by the 3 of them like they were beating a dog to death. It finally went crazy, and it was enraged, its ferocious nature erupting. It ignited its bloodline and its aura skyrocketed. For a moment, it actually shook off the 3 puppets and fought them with great difficulty. Blood dyed the mountains and rivers red, but it still didn't yield. Hong Yi did not underestimate the 3 puppets. At the end of the day, puppets were inanimate objects. The 3 puppets might not be able to kill a virtual beast that was going all out. However, she had underestimated Ning Fan. Ning Fan left the injured void beast to the 3 puppets. Ning Fan himself took a step forward and stood in front of the 10,000 beasts. His thin and weak body was like an insurmountable mountain. No ferocious beast could take half a step over his body. Ning Fan's sword sense swept across the area again and again. The 10,000 nascent soul realm beasts were instantly killed by him in just a few moments. The roars of the beasts in the surroundings were as loud as thunder. Ning Fan's eyes were cold. That coldness came from his heart that was as hard as iron and stone after experiencing the sea of blood for a long time. A breath later, there were only 110,000 zhang tall wild beasts left in front of him. Ning Fan's speed in killing the nascent soul realm beasts made Hong Yi's eyes move slightly. This young man's sword sense isn't weak. He can even kill nascent soul realm beasts in an instant. However, many divine transformation realm cultivators can also kill them at such a level. Unless he can withstand 100 wild beasts, he is still just an ordinary half-step void refinement realm cultivator in my eyes. As soon as her voice fell, a hint of surprise flashed across her eyes for the first time at the next moment. She saw that Ning Fan did not show any fear in the face of 100 wild beasts. He clawed at the ground with his 5 fingers and his aura force swept across the area. All of a sudden, the soul of the earth was extracted. Countless plants withered and the mountains and rivers decayed. As for Ning Fan, who had devoured the soul of the earth, his aura force skyrocketed. It had already reached 1 million units. In terms of magic power alone, he was not any weaker than ordinary Void Glimpse stage cultivators. Unfortunately, his cultivation realm did not improve at all. He was still at the half-step Void Refinement realm. Even the Earth Soul Extraction technique could not allow a cultivator to break through the bottleneck of the Void Refinement realm. Even so, it was Hong Yi's first time being surprised by Ning Fan. Soul Extraction technique? This young man can actually comprehend this technique. I have underestimated him. With the help of the secret technique, Ning Fan's magic power increased tremendously. Looking at the 100 wild beasts, his eyes became even colder. He touched his glabella and the white lightning whip appeared in his hand. The long whip lashed out as if it was whipping all living beings. Its entire body gave off a devil might that could not be looked at directly. 1 whip, 10 whips, 100 whips. 100 whips were lashed out by Ning Fan almost in an instant, giving off deafening sounds of thunder and flashes of lightning. Even though the whip was lashing at the air, endless blood-red lightning bolts appeared and struck the bodies of the 100 wild beasts. In addition, all of the 100 wild beasts were lightning spirits. Thus, they were completely restrained by the white lightning whip. In just an instant, the demon cores of the 100 wild beasts were all struck by the lightning bolts. All of their defenses were useless to the white lightning whip. The demon cores that were as hard as black iron were crushed by Ning Fan's whip. 21 wild beasts lost their demon cores on the spot and died a violent death. The rest of the beasts also suffered different degrees of injuries. Their chi was greatly weakened. Moreover, many of the wild beasts were showing signs of dropping to the nascent soul realm because their demon cores were damaged. All of a sudden, a deep sense of fear appeared in the eyes of the 100 wild beasts. Originally, they would not be afraid of any experts at the same level as them. However, when they met Ning Fan's cold eyes, all of the ferocious beasts felt as if they were in a world of ice and snow, a bone-piercing cold. It was as if they were not ferocious beasts, but Ning Fan was the devil beast with monstrous ferocity. What a terrifying white lightning whip! He had killed 21 wild beasts with a single strike. Ning Fan looked at the lightning whip in his hand and revealed a satisfied expression. No matter what, the white lightning whip that Hong Yi had refined again was much more convenient to kill people and shatter their spirits without the restriction of drawing treasures. Roar! Even though the 80 wild beasts were fearful, they still quickly surrounded Ning Fan from all directions and attacked him with lightning power with all their might. Wind, thunder, rain, and lightning were summoned. Each of them had their own unique techniques. The destructive force of the joint lightning attack of 80 wild beasts was astonishing. Even a Void Refinement realm attack was nothing more than this. Ning Fan looked at the wind and lightning that filled the sky without any fear. He raised the whip and pointed it to the east, slaughtering 20 wild beasts in the east. Even though Ning Fan's physical body was at the 4th level of the Jade Life realm, he should have been severely injured when the lightning struck him. However, at this moment, 99 black stars suddenly appeared in the sky. Starlight sprinkled down. Ning Fan's eyes were like stars and his body was like a devil god. No matter how the lightning struck his body, his long hair danced in the wind and he remained unscathed. He was not unscathed. It was just that the speed at which the attacks of mere wild beasts caused damage to Ning Fan's body was far slower than the recovery speed of the starlight. Star healing technique. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes were filled with surprise. She had never expected that Ning Fan actually possessed such a heaven-defying ability. If it was the soul extraction technique, Hong Yi would only be surprised because she also knew that technique. However, the star healing technique was a truly supreme secret technique. Even a void fragmentation realm expert would not be able to comprehend it. Even a life immortal realm expert might not be able to comprehend it. The fact that Ning Fan actually knew a secret technique of this level really shocked Hong Yi. This time, I've really underestimated him. He has 99 natal stars. With so many stars protecting him, He might not be able to kill a Void Refinement Realm expert, but I'm afraid no Void Glimpse stage cultivator can kill him either. Hong Yi finally began to take Ning Fan seriously. Ning Fan was still unaware of all these. He just turned his head and looked to the west. The killing intent in his eyes was enough to drown the 20 wild beasts in the west. Roar. The roars of the wild beasts were filled with indescribable fear. They couldn't understand. They couldn't understand why Ning Fan's physical body remained unscathed and indestructible after enduring the attacks of 80 wild beasts. How could they understand? How could they understand? Ning Fan had condensed 99 natal stars. Even if he is besieged by Divine Transformation Realm cultivators, he would certainly be undefeatable. There are still 40 wild beasts left. Ning Fan glanced at the severely injured Void Beast. Even though it was on the verge of death, it managed to injure a Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppet. An incomplete spiritual puppet is indeed very weak compared to its peers of the same level. He knew that if he drags on any longer, there was a possibility that the ferocious beast would drag one of the spiritual puppets to perish together with it. Then, the losses would outweigh the gains. After keeping his lightning whip, Ning Fan looked at the remaining 40 wild beasts around him. His eyes flashed with cold light. 5 Graves of Dragons technique. When the 5 dragons die, the black dragon lives. When the 5 elements die, the 5 graves live. The tombstones that were not part of the 5 elements were able to restrain the 5 elements of heaven and earth. As for these wild beasts, all of them had lightning spirits. Their bodies were formed from pure metal spirits. Thus, they were restrained by the 5 graves. Suppress. Ning Fan flicked his fingers and circulated his magic power. 5 10,000 zhang large black dragon tombstones suddenly appeared in the sky. As Ning Fan willed it, countless shadows of the tombstones were formed and they fell upon the beasts. When the shadow of a tombstone fell, it was as if Mount Tai was falling from the sky. Under the suppression of countless tombstones, the 40 wild beasts were immediately killed and their blood flowed like a river. In just a few breaths' time, the last 40 wild beasts had also turned into minced meat and rotten bones. They were all killed under the 5 graves. 100 wild beasts' demon cores which contained lightning power were naturally taken away by Ning Fan as his spoils of war. Ning Fan consumed a few spirit-restoring pills and quickly refined them. With the tip of his feet, he dashed towards the severely injured Void Beast. He directly appeared in front of the Void Beast in a domineering manner. Relying on the protection of the starlight, he swung his fists and bombarded the Void Beast's body. Even though the Void Beast had burned its blood and fought to the death, it had yet to break through to the mid-void refinement realm after all. Even though its attacks were powerful and the injuries it suffered were also severe, all of them were healed by Ning Fan's Black Star technique. As for Ning Fan's attacks, they landed squarely on the Void Beast's body, causing countless wounds on its body to split open. In addition to Ning Fan's forceful restraint, the 3 spiritual puppets recklessly attacked the Void Beast's vital parts. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the Void Beast's strength was exhausted. It could no longer defend itself and died in the end. The last attack was made by Ning Fan's finger. The purple mist shrouded the sky. The illusory purple-gold mist covered the sky. Within the wind and sand, there was a terrifying power that could turn everything into ashes and dust into dust. It directly turned the Void Beast into dust. He did not use the myriad sword style. After all, the Zhou clan did not seem to be on good terms with the Rain Palace. It would be unwise to recklessly use Yun Tianjue's sword move. He also did not use the star-punishing bow technique. The power of that shot would deplete his magic power and put him in a weakened state for a short period of time. He purposely used the wind mist finger because Hong Yi had told him that she fancied his wind mist finger and she needed his help. Since that was the case, Ning Fan did not mind using the wind mist technique to let Hong Yi see the power of this technique. That way, she would know the value of befriending Ning Fan. After killing the Void Beast, Ning Fan obtained a Void Beast's demon core and kept it in his storage pouch. Then, a cold and arrogant female voice resounded behind him. "Your strength is quite good. You are the first Divine Transformation Realm Junior who has impressed me. The one who spoke was, of course, Hong. Ning Fan had killed 10,000 nascent soul beasts, 100 wild beasts and 1 void beast. Hong Yi had also killed 3 void beasts. Miss, you flatter me. I could barely kill 1 void beast with the help of the 3 puppets. As for you, you killed 3 of them alone. You are the one who impressed me. Ning Fan asked himself honestly. Hong Yi was indeed very strong. She was much stronger than you, Ling Kong. Humph. In your eyes, don't tell me that I don't even have the strength to kill 3 early void beasts instantly? Are you mocking me? Hong Yi actually showed a displeased look towards Ning Fan's compliment. Her temperament was really strange and hard to please. Even though her eyes were filled with displeasure, she did not vent her anger on Ning Fan. Instead, her hands were stained with blood as she tossed 3 void beasts' demon cores to Ning Fan. For me! Ning Fan was surprised. Even though this Hong Yi was just using him, she was really generous. She gave him 3 void beasts' demon cores just like that. Since you are working for me, I will certainly not treat you unfairly. However, these are just trash demon cores. They are not considered good stuff. You don't have to reject them. Hong Yi's cold eyes did not have any emotion. She did not even spare a glance at the void beast's demon cores. If this demon core is leaked to the outside world, it would certainly cause Void Refinement Realm old monsters to fight for it. However, in Hong Yi's eyes, it was just trash. Ning Fan was instantly speechless. It seemed like Hong Yi's previous argument that the spirit-shattering whip was trash was not considered as an insult. After all, in her eyes, all void beasts were trash. Her standards were too high. It would be a waste for him to reject 3 void beasts' demon cores that were delivered to his doorstep. Ning Fan nodded his head and kept the 3 demon cores. As for Hong Yi, she took out a clean silk handkerchief and calmly wiped away the bloodstains on her hands. Her blood-red eyes were still filled with arrogance. However, she suddenly spoke to Ning Fan coldly for the first time. You are not trash. Ning Fan was speechless. He understood that Hong Yi's words were meant as a compliment. However, if an ordinary person were to hear it, they would probably think that she was scolding him. She was an incomparably arrogant woman. What matched her arrogance was her insanely strong strength. If it wasn't necessary, Ning Fan did not want to be entangled with this woman. As for Hong Yi, she was still as cold as ice. She was not interested in anything in the world, including Ning Fan. No one broke the silence. After killing all the lightning spirit ferocious beasts, the 2 of them took a short break. Then, they turned into rays of traveling light and ascended to the peak of the central lightning bamboo. At the peak of the mountain, black lightning rumbled. Even Ning Fan and Hong Yi had to pay 120% of their attention to avoid being struck by the black lightning to prevent themselves from getting hurt. Under the tempering of the lightning, an ancient black lightning formation that was 100,000 zhang large was connected to the ground. It was glowing with rolling lightning. Ning Fan was proficient in formation techniques. He squatted down slightly and carefully touched the formation light on the ground. After a while, he confirmed that this lightning teleportation formation indeed led to the upper level of the Thunder World. Hong Yi did not lie to him. Even though she had no reason to lie to him, he still took the unnecessary step of checking it. He was a little overly cautious. However, Hong Yi did not feel disgusted by his cautious attitude. Hong Yi had seen through countless people. She could naturally tell that Ning Fan had actually seen through the structure of the formation diagram of this lightning teleportation formation. Her opinion of Ning Fan rose once again. After all, this lightning formation was a grand formation at the peak mortal void realm. In the rain world, there were not many people who could see through it. Hong Yi knew that her formation techniques were not as good as Ning Fan's. You know about formations? I know a thing or two. Humph. Being too humble is a hypocrite. If you know a thing or two, you won't be able to see through a peak mortal void realm formation. Hypocrite, huh? I don't think so. This is my way of survival. Ning Fan shook his head. I don't care about what your way of survival is. However, Let me remind you that there will be 3 difficult steps before you enter the Black Lightning Tower in the upper layer of the cloud world. If you want to break through the 3 difficult steps, you must not be hypocritical or pretentious. You must face your heart honestly. Hong Yi was just coldly stating the facts. The 3 difficult steps contain opportunities. With your abilities, it won't be difficult for you to pass them. It's also possible for you to obtain opportunities. At least, if you face your heart honestly, there won't be much danger. What you need to pay attention to is the Black Lightning Tower. Remember, I need 7 bamboo leaves. If you can't get 7 bamboo leaves, it means that your strength is only at this level. Is she trying to provoke me? Ning Fan's eyes flickered slightly. The woman in front of him seemed to be purposely provoking his competitive spirit. Is she afraid that Ning Fan would not use his full strength and hold back his strength, which would cause him to fail to get 7 bamboo leaves? I'm just telling the truth. Hong Yi's face was as cold as a rock. Is that so? Then, you can look forward to seeing how many bamboo leaves I get. Ning Fan was not provoked, and he did not have any competitive spirit either. He had always given his all when he did things. He would never hold back. Half a day later, Ning Fan adjusted his breathing to his peak state. With a step, he stepped into the lightning teleportation formation. Immediately after, Hong Yi made a series of hand seals and activated the formation map, teleporting Ning Fan to the cloud realm in the upper layer. The scenery around him changed rapidly. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan had already appeared above a 1,000,000 zhang sea of black lightning. He stepped on the black clouds. The soft clouds did not give him much of a sense of reality. Ning Fan scanned his surroundings. In the far east, he saw a gigantic tower with rolling black lightning bolts piercing through the clouds. It was so tall that he could not see the top of it. It seemed to be the Black Lightning Bamboo Tower. On this sea of clouds, there were countless low-grade lightning spirits and ferocious beasts. However, the strongest among them was only at the nascent soul realm. Divine Transformation Realm and Void Refinement Realm beasts did not seem to live here. When they sensed Ning Fan's unusually strong baleful qi, countless ferocious beasts turned pale with fright. They scattered in all directions and fled for their lives. Ning Fan did not chase after those low-grade ferocious beasts. Instead, he looked at the far east with a serious expression. He did not take a single step forward. Instead, he suddenly turned his head around. His left eye flashed with purple light as he stared at the far west and said with a cold smile, "There is no tower in the far east. The real Black Lightning Tower is obviously in the west. How dare you display your slight skill in front of me with such a low-grade illusory technique? Show yourself." As Ning Fan roared, his aura force fluctuated. His surging baleful qi actually shattered the surrounding scenery into pieces and dissipated like the reflection of the moon in the water. A muffled groan came from a dark place. It seemed like someone who was hiding in the dark was injured by Ning Fan. The black tower in the far east disappeared. In the middle of the desolate sea of clouds in the far west, a black tower slowly emerged. Countless lightning force formation lights emerged from the surroundings and surrounded Ning Fan. The lightning light turned into a black palace. Ning Fan was no longer in the desolate sea of clouds. Instead, he was standing in a black lightning palace that looked like a maze. Only by walking out of this palace could he head to the Black Lightning Tower in the far west. The empty palace was 10,000 zhang wide. On the brick wall of the palace, there was a plaque with a row of words written in black ink. The first formation, the True Illusion Stage. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Right now, this palace and the previous illusions were the True Illusion Stage. Previously, when he released his baleful qi, he had slightly injured the person who was hiding in the dark. That person was probably the one who controlled this stage. I am the White Lightning Realm Spirit. You are just an ant from the lower world. How dare you injure me? You are courting death. I will definitely let you die in the True Illusion Stage. In the dark, a furious voice that sounded like an old man attacked Ning Fan with an early Void Refinement Realm aura force. However, it was extinguished by Ning Fan with a flick of his sleeve. You! Ning Fan sneered. Don't you dare be so arrogant. Witness the power of my formation. The mysterious expert shouted angrily and activated the true illusion formation. Immediately, two figures of women whom Ning Fan had never expected to appear appeared in front of him. Kill one of them and you can pass the first stage. If you can't, you will be trapped in this formation forever. The mysterious expert sneered. This joke isn't funny. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Not everything could be used to set up a stage. The two figures that appeared in front of him were Jiha. When Ning Fan observed them carefully, he was surprised to find out that these two Jiha were somewhat similar. They seemed to be illusions but also seemed real at the same time. One of them was connected to Jiha's luck through the heavenly Tao. It could be considered as Jiha's true body. If this true body dies, Jiha's luck would be greatly damaged. As for the other one, it was an illusion which could be killed at will. If he kills Jiha's true body by mistake, the consequences would be unimaginable. As for Ning Fan, he did not have the intention to kill Jiha at all. Don't force me to take action after dispersing my wife's luck. Otherwise, you will regret it. Ning Fan's tone became even colder. His words were filled with ice-cold killing intent. Regret? Who do you think you are? How can you make me regret? The mysterious elderly man burst into laughter with extreme disdain. I must die. Ning Fan closed his eyes and said no more. There were 3 stages in front of the Black Lightning Tower. The first stage was the true illusion stage. In the lower level of the Black Lightning realm, Hong Yi stood in front of the teleportation formation. Her blood-red eyes seemed to have sensed something. That damned vile creature actually woke up at this moment. With this vile creature in the way, I'm afraid it will be extremely dangerous for that young man to break through the 3 stages. Humph! If I knew this would happen, I would have killed this vile creature in the past. I wonder if that young man Zhou Ming can break through the 3 stages under the situation where this vile creature is personally controlling the formation. True illusion stage, immortal mortal stage, and Tao life stage. These 3 stages are the ancient formations of the White Lightning realm. They communicate with the heavenly Tao and are extraordinary. Now that the White Lightning realm spirit is causing trouble, that young man will have to pay a great price if he's careless. He might even implicate his loved ones. When the White Lightning realm spirit was still alive, no one could pass through the 3 stages of Immortal Emperor Tai Su's tests. Zhou Ming. Even though this young man is just an ant, I wonder if he can surprise me again. Hong Yi said coldly. Chapter 412. For half a day, there was still no sign of him breaking through the first stage. In the lower Black Lightning realm, Hong Yi's eyes darkened. She took out a blood-colored bronze mirror and pointed at it. The image of the upper cloud realm could be vaguely seen in the mirror. In the first stage of the Lightning Palace, Ning Fan had been standing still with his eyes closed for half a day. Outside the formation, there was a gray-robed old man mocking him. He was controlling the illusions in the formation to bewitch Ning Fan. Hong Yi's gaze gradually turned cold. If she was not mistaken, the gray-gowned old man hiding outside the formation was the White Lightning Realm's world spirit. A mere world spirit dares to touch my people? You're courting death. No matter what, Ning Fan was her subordinate. For him to be trapped by a mere world spirit really infuriated her. Unfortunately, she was in the form of a primordial spirit and she did not dare to enter the cloud realm in the upper layer to help Ning Fan recklessly. Just as his anger rose, Ning Fan's brows twitched. After half a day, he finally opened his eyes. Real illusion. 2 demon stars appeared in his left eye, and 2 devil stars appeared in his right eye. The 2 divine stars between his eyebrows emitted traces of lightning. He seemed to have understood something, but he became even more perplexed. He looked at the 2 paper cranes in front of him. Their faces were exactly the same, and their smiles were exactly the same. It was hard to tell which one was the real one. For half a day, he did not find any exit from the first stage. The world spiritist old man did not lie. If he wanted to pass the first trial, he had to kill one of the 2 Jiha. Of the 2 paper cranes, one was a real shadow, and the other was an illusion. If he killed the true image, it would harm the luck of Jiha's true body. If he could eliminate the illusion, he would be able to pass this stage. However, he was somewhat unwilling to do so. He could kill billions of living beings, but there were also people he couldn't kill. Back then, the heart demon phantom was an illusion of a paper crane, and he could not bear to sever it. Today, he was also reluctant. One of them was wearing plain clothes while the other one was wearing a white fox fur coat. After Ning Fan opened his eyes, both of them walked towards him. Their delicate and pretty faces still had the same childishness that they had in the past. That immature and innocent expression softened Ning Fan's heart that was like a stone. Both of them smiled brightly as if seeing Ning Fan safe and sound was the happiest thing in the world. One of them, Jiha, was embarrassed. She mustered her courage and held Ning Fan's hand. His small hand was still as cold as before. The other Jiha's face was filled with anger and happiness, but there was also a trace of grievance, as if she was blaming Ning Fan for not returning after so long. Big Brother Fan, kill me and you can pass the first round. The two girls calmly told the truth. This fact made Ning Fan even more hesitant. He had defiled himself and shouldered countless sins. He could slaughter the world and bear the infamy of 1,000 years, but he could not steel his heart to destroy Jiha, even if the so-called Jiha was only an illusion. His heart struggled even more. The Thunder Palace in front of him gradually became blurry, and layers of illusions appeared. The first illusion was the All-Pleasure Sect. The second illusion was 7 Apricot City. The third illusion was Ning Cheng. One after another, the illusions shrouded Ning Fan. As he sank deeper and deeper into the illusion, it became harder for him to extricate himself from it. Outside the formation, the gray-robed old man's sneer grew even wider. His sneer echoed in the illusion. Weak too weak. You can't even bear to kill the true and false shadows, yet you still want to pass the first round. With such a weak mind, I really don't know how you managed to reach this level. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold, but his heart gradually calmed down. The last illusion stopped at the night of their parting. Under the grapevine, Jiha murmured her little wish. Big Brother Fan, when you come back from the endless sea, can you bring me an orchid of the bell? Jiha said. The orchid of the endless sea. I heard that when the wind blows, it can produce a sound like a wind chime. It's very pleasant to listen to. When I heard that sound, I knew that you've returned. Jiha said. Ning Fan closed his eyes. He thought that he could distinguish between the two Jiha's real and false shadows. In the end, he realized that it was just an extravagant hope. From the beginning, he did not treat the two Jiha as illusions, and he was even more reluctant to kill them. Which is real and which is an illusion? So what if I can tell them apart? So what if I can't tell them apart? If I can tell them apart, will Ning Fan be willing to kill them? Ning Fan's lips curved into a warm smile. He reached out his hand and caressed the cheeks of the two Jiha with his usual doting expression. He would never hurt Jiha. Never. Whether she is real or an illusion. He activated the power of the heart formation and gradually understood why this true illusion grand formation could find Ning Fan's weakness and create Jiha to mess up his mind. It turned out that the power of this true illusion grand formation had already invaded his heart and seen through all his weaknesses. Peeking at the weakness of my heart and setting up illusions to bewitch me, the coldness in his eyes became even deeper. He formed a sword with his finger and a ray of sword chi pierced through his heart. Immediately, his white robes were dyed red with blood. His heart was pierced by a ray of sword chi. The pain was bone-piercing. That pain did not make Ning Fan frown at all. All he could do was shout coldly. Get out of my heart. When the sword pierced through his heart, a trace of formation force was forced out from his heart. At the same time, a muffled groan of injury could be heard. The injured person was none other than the elderly world spiritist who plotted against Ning Fan outside the formation. The elderly world spiritist was shocked. Ever since he was conferred the title of White Lightning Realm Spirit by immortal Emperor Tai Su, he had seen countless cultivators who entered the White Lightning Broken World. No one had ever been able to break through Tai Su's 3 questions while he was controlling the formation force. It was because Tai Su's 3 questions directly pointed at the weakness of a person's heart. No one in the world could give up their weakness. Emotions were the weakness of a sentient person, while indifference was the weakness of a heartless person. With the help of the formation force, the elderly world spiritist barely found the weakness of Ningfan's heart and used the formation force to create Jiha. This true illusion grand formation was extremely mysterious. It borrowed the power of the heavenly Tao to condense one reality and one illusion. Only by killing the illusion could one break the formation. The intruder must distinguish between reality and illusion. If he could not, he would accidentally kill the true shadow and hurt the person who created the illusion. In the past, the intruder would either kill the illusion with indifference, escape out of fear, or make a choice repeatedly before finally killing the illusion. No one had ever broken their own heart to break the formation like Ningfan did. As Ningfan crushed his own heart, the layers of illusions shattered into pieces. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of Ningfan's mouth. When the 2 Jiha saw this scene, they felt a piercing pain in their bones. Be it the real Jiha or the fake Jiha, both of them felt sorry for Ningfan from the bottom of their hearts. Ningfan's eyes widened. He was even more confused about the authenticity of the 2 Jiha. However, why would he need to distinguish between them? I can't distinguish between reality and illusion, and I don't need to. Whether it's reality or illusion, I won't hurt her. The word true and illusion refers to all unfounded and rootless obsessions. That reality is the realm that countless immortals strive to attain. I can't see through it because my cultivation base is still low. Do you think you can see through it? You're just an early void refinement realm spirit. Do you think you're qualified to see through reality and illusion? Even though I can't distinguish between reality and illusion, I've already figured out a way to make the illusions disappear. Fundamentally, illusion techniques are just bewitching people's minds. The key to breaking the illusion is to break the heart. What is reality and what is illusion? When the heart is in chaos, the illusion will be destroyed. Whether it's reality or illusion, as long as it's your shadow, it's all reality in my heart. You are my Dao Jin. With the power of the black star in his body, Ningfan's heart condensed again. This time, his heart was as firm as iron and stone. No matter how strong the power of the true illusion formation was, it could not invade his heart. He closed his eyes. His heart was as calm as a lake without any ripples. When he opened his eyes again, the illusory formation shattered like glass. However, neither of the 2 Jiha disappeared. Both of them are real? When this thought rose in Ningfan's mind, the 2 of them began to disappear at the same time. Whether they were reality or illusion, he couldn't tell. It was this indescribable realm that was the embodiment of the extreme comprehension of the 2 words true and illusion. Ningfan suddenly recalled the scenes when he became Zido's disciple. When he was at the mortal severing realm, he entered an illusory realm and became Zido's disciple, learning the wind mist finger. In that place, he met his mother and Jiha. He thought that it was just an illusion. However, Zido said that the illusion might not be fake. You entered the broken world from the endless sea, your mind entered the cloud sea from the broken world, and your Taoist heart entered the heart fantasy from the cloud sea. Have you really seen through which world is real and which is fake? The you who is diligently pursuing knowledge right now might not be a dream. The you who is killing in the rain world might not be the real you. Reality and illusion are only separated by a single thought. Boom. At this moment, when he recalled immortal sovereign Zido's words, he vaguely realized that the phrase, truth and illusion are only separated by a single thought, probably referred to all the truths and illusions in the world. Perhaps the paper crane was just an illusion. However, when Ningfan was obsessed with her, the illusion became the real one. When Ningfan's heart sank, the illusion also returned to nothingness. True and false are only separated by a single thought. Perhaps in this world, there is no such thing as true and false. Ningfan's Tao comprehension gradually rose, but he forcefully cut it off. His realm was too low, and he had only just begun to comprehend the word void. He didn't have the qualifications to ask about the word true. The word Truth was the truth of the Tao, a great Tao that only life immortals were barely qualified to pursue. If the first step cultivators pursued immortality, then the second step cultivators pursued the truth of the Tao. However, the second step cultivators pursued the truth of the Tao. Impossible. You actually didn't destroy the illusion but made it self-destruct. This is absolutely impossible. Since ancient times until now, none of the life immortal realm experts who came to this place could see through the difference between reality and illusion. How did you do it? The elderly world spiritist shouted in anger. He had used all his strength to control the illusory formation to attack Ning Fan. However, Ning Fan had forcefully broken the illusory formation, causing him to suffer great injuries. After the illusory formation was broken, a lightning gate mysteriously appeared in the lightning palace. It was the path to the second stage. The elderly world spiritist felt a little scared. Since Ning Fan could break through the first stage, he might also be able to break through the second and the third stage. He harbored evil intentions and plotted against Ning Fan. If Ning Fan manages to break through the third stage and find him, Ning Fan would certainly attack him. Even though the elderly world spiritist was at the early void refinement realm and his cultivation base was higher than Ning Fan's, he could already tell that Ning Fan was not someone to be trifled with. In addition, the elderly world spiritist's formation was broken and he was injured from the backlash. Thus, he was in a disadvantageous state. Thus, he was unwilling to fight Ning Fan. The elderly world spiritist's heart was filled with regret. He regretted provoking Ning Fan with his reverse scale. However, it was already useless for him to regret. The only thing he could do now was to activate the formation of the second stage with all his strength to stop Ning Fan. The second stage is the question of immortals and mortals. The stage set up by immortal Emperor Tai Su is definitely not something a mortal like you can break through. The elderly world spiritist grinned hideously. Immortal Emperor Tai Su? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with contemplation. This true illusion formation was extremely mysterious. It could borrow the power of the heavenly Tao. It was definitely not an ordinary immortal formation. It turned out that the one who set up this formation was actually an immortal emperor. So, this immortal emperor had originally set up this formation to test a cultivator's comprehension of the true illusion Tao? Did he not have any ill intentions? It seemed like the elderly world spiritist was the one who harbored evil intentions against Ning Fan. Looking at the lightning gate that led to the second stage, Ning Fan stopped pondering and calmly walked towards it. However, just as he approached the lightning gate, a ray of lightning suddenly shot out from the gate and landed on Ning Fan's palm. It turned into a blood-red lightning power fragment. There was a faint trace of starlight flowing on the surface of the fragment. The starlight flashed and went into Ning Fan's glabella. He originally had two divine stars. One was the star of imperial lightning and the other was the star of melting yin. However, as the starlight shone into his glabella, a third of the blood-red divine star condensed on it. After breaking through the true illusion stage, I can actually condense a third of the divine star. Ning Fan's expression changed. Could it be that this divine star is the reward for breaking through the stage? As the divine star condensed, an old and majestic voice that transcended the ancient times resounded in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. I am Lightning Emperor Tai Su. This star is your reward for breaking through the stage. After breaking through 3 stages, you can condense the Tai Su Lightning Star. Tai Su Lightning Star? Ning Fan was slightly surprised. He activated a third of the divine star and a blood-red electric arc immediately appeared on his palm. The electric arc made a sizzling sound. As soon as it appeared, Ning Fan was caught off guard. One of his palms was directly scorched by the electric arc. His physical body was incredibly strong, but it was still easily injured by this electric arc. This electric arc was the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation that Ning Fan had devoured in the past. It originally did not have such terrifying power and it was impossible for it to injure Ning Fan. His lightning power was amplified and strengthened. The culprit that increased Ning Fan's lightning power was actually the third of the Tai Su Lightning Star. Just condensing a third of the lightning star had actually strengthened Ning Fan's lightning power by several times. The amount of lightning power did not change, but its power had increased. Each trace of lightning power was a few times stronger than before. If Ning Fan completely condenses the Tai Su lightning star, wouldn't his lightning power receive an even more terrifying strengthening effect? The first divine star was an elemental star. The second divine star was the divine ability star. The third divine star was the strengthening star. That old man from the spirit realm deserves death. The Tai Su lightning star can be kept. Ning Fan's tone was cold. He took a step into the lightning door. The second stage, the immortal and mortal stage. In the lower layer of the black lightning realm, Hong Yi's eyes were filled with astonishment when she saw the image in the copper mirror. Ning Fan had actually broken through the true illusion stage perfectly. His speed of breaking through was even faster than her in the past. In the past, I dominated the rain world, but I could only reach the third stage. Just condensing 2/3 of the Tai Su lightning star was already enough to intimidate everyone. Since this young man can condense 1/3 of the Tai Su lightning star, he can already be considered as a peerless genius in the 9 worlds. If he condenses 2/3 of the Tai Su lightning star, his achievements in the future will certainly not be any weaker than mine in the past. Thousands of years later, he will certainly be an invincible existence in the rain world who can make the rain palace tremble. If he can condense the complete Tai Su lightning star, no one in the 9 worlds will be able to match his potential. He shouldn't be able to do it. After Lightning Emperor Tai Su, no one has been able to condense a complete lightning star. Even I have only condensed 2/3 of it. Hong Yi frowned. In her mind, she could not help but recall what Ning Fan said when he broke through the first stage. The key to breaking through illusions lies in breaking one's heart. What is reality and what is illusion? When one's heart is in chaos, the illusion will disappear. You are my Daojin. Even with Hong Yi's cold and arrogant personality, she actually showed a hint of admiration. This young man's cultivation base might still be low. However, in terms of Tao comprehension, even I am not as good as him. Perhaps he can successfully condense the complete Tai Su lightning star? At that moment, compared to obtaining the dark golden bamboo leaves to heal her injuries, Hong Yi was more concerned about Ning Fan's progress in breaking through the stage. Could Ning Fan do something that she could not? Chapter 413. The second stage was the immortal and mortal stage. Standing in the second lightning palace, Ning Fan's heart sank. He was no longer confused by any illusions in this place. The second lightning palace was a world of birds and flowers. Within the sea of flowers, there were 2 paths that led to 2 different exits. One of the paths was filled with spiritual qi, immortal music, and mysterious cranes dancing in the sky. At the entrance of the path, there was a monument named Immortal Path. The other path was quiet and peaceful. There were only lonely night butterflies flying in the sky. At the entrance of the path, there was a monument named Mortal Path. The 2 paths led to 2 different exits. Both exits were covered by mist and lightning, making it hard to see them clearly. However, Ning Fan sharply sensed that the Tao aura of the 2 paths were different. This was the difference between immortals and mortals. Do I have to choose one of these 2 paths? Ning Fan pondered for a while. The difference between immortals and mortals was an extremely common topic in the cultivation world. It was set up here by Lightning Emperor Tai Su as a test. If I pass the test, I will be able to obtain the other third of the lightning star. If I fail, I will probably face a lot of dangers. After all, with the first stage as a warning, Ning Fan could imagine that there must be an elderly world spiritist plotting against him in the dark. As expected, when Ning Fan was pondering, that sarcastic voice rang again. Junior, the path of immortals and mortals is filled with life and death. If you can choose the right path, you will be able to enter the third stage. If you fail, you will die. Ning Fan ignored the elderly world spiritist. His eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. He did not believe that the elderly world spiritist would be so kind as to tell him the method to pass the stage. The elderly world spiritist said that one of the two paths was life and death. However, in Ning Fan's eyes, these two paths were not that simple. If he chooses the path of immortality, he would have to abandon the mortal world. To ordinary cultivators, it might be the right path. However, Ning Fan had experienced the mortal severing in the Sea of Clouds. He already understood that the so-called mortal severing was not to cut off his mortal past but to cut off the weakness of mortals. The path of immortality must not be chosen. Ning Fan was very confident that once he chooses the path of immortality, he would most likely die. It was the path of death. If he chooses the path of mortality, he would have to abandon the immortal Tao. To cultivators, abandoning the path of immortality meant abandoning their cultivation base. The outcome of choosing the path of mortality was self-evident. They would also die. With Ning Fan's intelligence, he had already seen through the vicious intentions of the elderly man. The old man tricked Ning Fan into choosing one of the paths to enter. However, no matter which path he chose, it would still be a dead end. It was impossible for the elderly man to warn Ning Fan out of kindness in the first place. He was just trying to lure Ning Fan to his death. "I won't choose either of the two paths." Ning Fan sneered. With a flick of his sleeves, a gust of wind appeared and he clawed at the air with his 5 fingers. Purple-golden smoke rose and the two paths collapsed in front of his eyes. They were eroded by the wind and eventually disappeared. What? The elderly man was greatly astonished. He had never expected that Ning Fan would be able to see through the tests of the mortal and immortal paths with just a single glance. Following the collapse of the immortal and mortal paths, the old man spat out several mouthfuls of blood. His injuries worsened, and the backlash was extremely severe. This was the price of murdering Ning Fan. That's right, you can't choose any one of these two paths. Choosing immortals and abandoning mortals, choosing mortals and abandoning immortals, are both wrong. The elderly man had never expected that Ning Fan, a mere divine transformation realm ant, could actually see through the difference between an immortal and a mortal. What shocked him even more was that not only did Ning Fan see through the difference between the two Tao paths, he even used a strange method to directly erode the immortal Tao and mortal Tao. No one had ever been able to completely destroy the two Tao paths. What kind of power is that purple-golden smoke? It's actually so terrifying. Even that arrogant woman in the past barely managed to pass through the stage after using some tricks. She could not destroy the immortal Tao and mortal Tao at all. You've destroyed both the immortal Tao and mortal Tao. You've destroyed the lightning door. You can no longer enter the third stage. The elderly man forced himself to calm down and said, "Is that so?" Ning Fan did not say much. He walked through the sea of flowers with each step. Each of his steps carried the tremendous strength of a 4th-level Jade Life Realm cultivator, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Step by step, he forcefully crushed the sea of flowers and carved out a path in the sea of flowers. I have already understood the difference between immortals and mortals. Immortals are people who stand on the mountain while mortals are trapped in the point of samsara. If the Tao is like a mountain, I will be an immortal when I go up the mountain and a mortal when I descend the mountain. If samsara is like a cage, I will be a mortal when I enter it and an immortal when I break it. Immortality and mortals are also separated by a single thought. My Tao is not that of an immortal, nor is it that of a mortal. The path that I walk on is my Tao. Ning Fan walked through the sea of flowers step by step, carving out his own path. At the end of the path, a lightning door slowly emerged. That was the real exit. Ning Fan nodded. He already had some guesses about the stages of Tai Su's 3 questions. This stage was left behind by Lightning Emperor Tai Su. The first stage was to test a cultivator's ability to distinguish between true and false Tao. The second stage was to test whether a cultivator had his own Tao. The third stage was called Tao and Life. Perhaps the cultivator would have to make a choice between Tao and life. When he first entered the first stage, Ning Fan was still confused. That was why he was trapped in the illusion for half a day. After entering the second stage, Ning Fan's mind became clear. The test of immortals and mortals could no longer hinder him. Next, he wanted to enter the third stage. Inside the lightning door, another trace of blood-red lightning power flashed and went into Ning Fan's glabella. Under the nourishment of this trace of lightning power, the incomplete and illusory Tai Su lightning star slowly condensed to 2/3 of its original size. With 2/3 of the lightning power remaining, Ning Fan felt that the lightning power in his body was boiling. The amount of lightning power did not change, but its destructive power increased by a few times again. On his palm, blood-red lightning arcs crackled like the shrill cries of thousands of birds. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. His hand was surrounded by blood-red lightning. Without using any lightning techniques, it would only take him a second to kill any half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator with this lightning power. Even if it is a Void Glimpse stage cultivator, he or she would certainly suffer severe injuries after being attacked by Ning Fan's lightning arcs. This is just 2/3 of the full power of the lightning star, huh? If I have the complete lightning star, some weaker Void Glimpse stage cultivators would probably be severely injured by the lightning arcs or even die from it. After condensing 2/3 of the lightning star, not only did it increase the lightning might in Ning Fan's body, but it also gave him a strange feeling. At this moment, he felt like he had become the Lord of Lightning. This feeling was not particularly obvious when he condensed 1/3 of the Tai Su lightning star. However, after breaking through the second stage and condensing 2/3 of the lightning star, Ning Fan's control over the lightning power became even more domineering. He recalled the experience when Hong Yi casually snatched his spirit-shattering whip. At that time, what Hong Yi relied on was her control and command over lightning. At that time, Hong Yi could easily snatch away Ning Fan's lightning treasure. Now, however, she could no longer do it. I'm afraid that Hong Yi also has the Tai Su lightning star, but it's most likely only 2/3 of it. If I break through the third stage, my control of thunder power will be even higher than hers. With a single step, Ning Fan entered the lightning door. Amidst the roaring thunder, he passed through the layers of lightning and appeared in the third Thunder Palace. This Thunder Palace was the final test to get out of the palace. If he were to pass this trial, not only would he be able to form a complete lightning star, he would also be able to kill the world spirit for revenge. The third trial, the trial of Dao Fate. The elderly man's eyes were filled with fear. He had seen Ning Fan pass 2 stages consecutively with his own eyes and witnessed the terrifying destructive power of Ning Fan's blood lightning. Currently, his injuries were extremely severe. Even though he had an early Void Refinement Realm cultivation base, he certainly could not withstand the ferocious might of Ning Fan's blood lightning. As the spirit of the White Lightning Realm, he knew very well how terrifying the might of a 2/3 condensed Tai Su lightning star was. That Tai Su lightning star actually contained all of Lightning Emperor Tai Su's comprehension towards the Tao of Lightning. Other than Tai Su, no one else had ever obtained a complete lightning star. If Ning Fan obtains it, none of the cultivators of the Tao of Lightning at the same level as him would be his match in the future. I must never let you pass the third trial. The elderly man's eyes were filled with madness. He controlled the formation and summoned lightning spirits from the wild beasts in an attempt to attack Ning Fan. However, before these wild beasts could even get close to Ning Fan, they were all killed by Ning Fan's lightning finger. It was as easy as taking something out of his pocket. The elderly man could not stop Ning Fan from passing the trial. Ning Fan did not pay attention to the elderly man. He scanned his surroundings with his eyes. There were countless lightning rays in the sky, and they condensed into 2 heavenly paths that led to 2 exits in the sky. At one of the exits, there was a stone tablet with the word Tao written on it. On the other path, there was a stone tablet with the word Fate written on it. This trial was obviously very similar to the second one. However, the topic of this trial was far more difficult than the second one. Tao or Fate? Which one was more precious to a cultivator? The path of Tao or the path of Fate? Which one was the correct path? Ning Fan's brows were tightly knitted together. He stood there for half a day. He had once comprehended the difference between an immortal and a mortal. That was why he was able to pass the trial in a single step. However, he had never thought about the difference between Tao and Fate. Throughout his journey, he would sometimes uphold the devil Tao. Sometimes he would disguise himself as the righteous Tao. Sometimes he would go against the demon Tao. His Tao was complicated and messy. Throughout his journey, he regarded human lives as worthless. To him, the only thing he could do was to kill his enemies. The only difference was whether he would kill one generation or 10,000 generations. By killing one generation, he would give the enemy a chance to reincarnate. This kind of enemy might have a different Tao, but there was no deep hatred between them. By killing 10,000 generations, he would eliminate any possibility of the enemy seeking revenge. This kind of enemy would certainly have a grudge against Ning Fan. Ning Fan closed his eyes and his mind gradually calmed down. Be it Tao or fate, they might be precious to cultivators. However, to him, they were not worth mentioning at all. Seeing Ning Fan fall into a predicament, the elderly man naturally heaved a sigh of relief. Inwardly he sneered. No one had ever broken through this trial before. Some cultivators chose Tao but lost their lives because of it. They died in this place. Some cultivators chose fate but lost their Tao because of it. Even so, they could barely avoid death. The elderly man sneered. If he had to choose, he would naturally choose fate. It was because someone had once told him, "If I punch you, your life will be scattered. If you lose your life, why would you still cultivate the great Tao?" Life was the supreme great Tao. In this stage, if you choose your Tao, you will die. If you choose your fate, you will live. However, even if you choose your fate, you will definitely not be able to pass the third stage and come outside to seek revenge on me. It's impossible for you to kill me. The elderly man sneered, but Ning Fan remained unmoved. Life was very important. If one lost their life, they would naturally be unable to cultivate. For cultivators who wholeheartedly pursued higher realms, preserving their own lives was the most important thing. But to an ordinary person, there were too many things in life that were more important than one's life. In fact, they were even more important than Tao. Ning Fan did not agree with the elderly man's opinion. In his eyes, the world's spiritist elder was even inferior to the ferocious beasts in the lower Black Lightning realm that did not fear death. Those ferocious beasts were willing to die to protect the teleportation formation. Even though he was afraid of Ning Fan, he did not take even half a step back. As his enemies, Ning Fan had to kill them. However, he still had a trace of respect for these ferocious beasts. He would only kill them once. These vicious beasts had a Tao in their hearts. In order to protect this Tao, they were willing to die even though they knew they would die. To them, as long as the Tao existed, they would exist. If the Tao died, they would die. Ning Fan recalled the past. He had seen and killed too many of these enemies who had their hearts attached to the Tao. He was deep in thought. Tao comprehension was born. The first step of cultivation consisted of 7 realms. The cultivators of these 7 realms struggled bitterly just to achieve longevity. That was life. The second step of cultivation consisted of 3 realms. The immortals of these 3 realms pursued painstakingly just for the truth of the Tao. However, Ning Fan did not pursue Tao in life. They had never been. He had never cared about longevity. Neither did he care about the truth of the Tao. What he cared about was only the most trivial people and matters. Throughout my journey, I naturally cherished my life. However, there were too many times where I had no choice but to risk my life in Tao sense. I had to fight, snatch and kill my way forward. I had no other choice but to break through my predicament. As long as the Tao exists, I will exist. If the Tao dies, I will die. I can understand this kind of feeling. However, to me, Tao and life are not the most important things. If she is safe and happy, I don't care even if my Tao and life are separated. Tao and life can all be destroyed. Ning Fan pointed his finger. Wind and mist covered the sky, carrying the determination to erode everything. The heavenly path of Tao collapsed. The heavenly path of fate collapsed. The elderly man was filled with shock and fear. He had never seen a cultivator who was so arrogant to the point of destroying the paths of fate and Tao. He did not pursue longevity nor the truth of the Tao. The elderly man could not understand what Ning Fan was pursuing. However, to his horror, he realized that Ning Fan had actually broken the third stage, which no one had ever broken before. A gigantic door appeared in the middle of the third lightning palace. The third ray of blood-red lightning went into Ning Fan's glabella. The incomplete and illusory Tai Su lightning star was rapidly restored with the help of this last ray of lightning power. A surge of blood-red lightning power that was as ferocious as monstrous waves spread out from Ning Fan's body. A massive lightning diagram was engraved under his feet and unfolded like a scroll. That lightning diagram was engraved with mysterious patterns. When this lightning diagram appeared, all the lightning in the myriad worlds seemed to have to submit to Ning Fan's feet. Ning Fan's body emitted a divine aura that could not be looked at directly. It was earth-shattering. His cold and frightening eyes could move all living beings. Tai Su lightning diagram. The elderly man was so shocked that he wanted to die. This lightning diagram was one of immortal Emperor Tai Su's trump cards. By summoning this lightning diagram, it could absorb almost all lightning attacks of the same level. The 3 questions of Tai Su that no one had ever broken since ancient times was broken at this moment. The lightning palace collapsed. Ning Fan stepped on the lightning diagram in the ruins and stared coldly at an elderly man in gray robes from afar. That person was none other than the elderly man. He was the despicable person who deliberately made things difficult for Ning Fan and wanted to kill him. You can die now. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with indifference. He raised his 5 fingers and clawed at the sky. Borrowing the power of the lightning diagram, countless lightning bolts obeyed his command and turned into a gigantic blood-red lightning palm, slamming down on the elderly man. The destructive power of that palm was definitely comparable to a void glimpse stage attack. The elderly man's expression changed greatly. If it was any other time, he would be injured after receiving this palm strike, but he would not die. Today, however, he plotted against Ning Fan viciously. Ning Fan broke through the stages 3 times in a row and he suffered a backlash 3 times. Due to his severe injuries, his cultivation base had already fallen to the half-step void refinement realm. Being struck by the lightning palm, he did not even have the time to escape. All he could do was to use all of his lightning power to form a faint golden primordial lightning armor in front of his chest. The golden lightning armor was the 2nd grade of the primordial lightning armor. It was enough to defend against void refinement realm attacks. This lightning armor was just a faint golden color. There were still some traces of silver color that had yet to fade. It could not completely nullify a void glimpse stage attack, but it could still protect his body. It was enough for him to only suffer injuries but not die. However, as soon as this primordial lightning armor was formed, something strange happened. The lightning diagram beneath Ning Fan's feet suddenly shone with profound lightning wings as if it was giving an order to the primordial lightning armor. That lightning armor could not resist it and directly shattered, turning into specks of lightning which were absorbed into the Tai Su lightning diagram. Without the full defensive power of the primordial lightning armor, the elderly man had to forcefully endure the destructive power of Ning Fan's lightning palm. With the strengthening effect of the Tai Su lightning star, the destructive power of that palm strike was comparable to a void glimpse stage attack. It landed on the defenseless elderly man and engulfed him with destructive lightning might. You're just a divine transformation realm cultivator, but you're actually so strong. The elderly man could not believe what he saw. He let out a miserable shriek and died within the lightning, turning into ashes. From then on, Tai Su's 3 questions was completely broken. The lightning palace had already disappeared. From today onwards, no one could receive the reward from Lightning Emperor Tai Su. Ning Fan dispersed the lightning light and the lightning diagram. He touched the 3rd divine star on his forehead and revealed a satisfied look. The strengthening effect of the 3rd star was very strong. If he has the opportunity, with the strength of the 3rd star, Ning Fan would definitely have the chance to become the next Thunder Sovereign Buzhou after 1,000 years. One day has already passed. I can't delay any longer. I should head to the Black Lightning Tower as soon as possible. Condense. Ning Fan performed a hand seal with all 10 of his fingers. His hand seals were exactly the same as the elderly man's. It was the hand seal of the primordial lightning armor. Inside his dantian, a palm-sized primordial spirit was enveloped by a slightly illusory silver lightning armor, protecting it from the sneak attacks of the undead spirits in the lightning tower. Ning Fan's primordial lightning armor was just at the first grade of silver lightning since he had just started cultivating it. A first-grade silver lightning armor could only defend against the primordial spirit attacks of early divine transformation realm experts. However, this lightning armor had an advantage. It could advance to the next grade by devouring the lightning in the primordial spirit of a lightning cultivator. After killing the elderly man, Ning Fan did not leave any corpse behind. Only the lightning light that filled the sky remained. That elderly man was originally a realm spirit of the White Lightning realm. He was a unique spiritual body that did not have a physical body. It was just a body of lightning light. His corpse was the lightning light. Among the lightning light, there was also the lightning light that was transformed from his primordial spirit. It was a great supplement for the primordial lightning armor. Ning Fan naturally would not waste the lightning power of his primordial spirit. He opened his mouth and swallowed all the lightning light into his abdomen, refining it into his lightning armor. The lightning power of a void refinement realm expert was extremely powerful. It directly improved the grade of his lightning armor to the second grade of silver lightning armor. The second grade of silver lightning armor was enough to defend against the primordial spirit attacks of mid-divine transformation realm experts. I wonder how much lightning power of the undead spirits can I devour after killing my way to the 7th floor of the Black Lightning Tower. I wonder what grade this primordial lightning armor will reach. Ning Fan's eyes were burning with passion. If he has enough lightning primordial spirit to devour, this primordial lightning armor would definitely be a powerful defensive method that was hard to come by. In the lower level of the Black Lightning realm, Hong Yi was speechless. Ning Fan broke through 3 levels in a row and killed a realm spirit. Every word he said made her unable to let go. She had really underestimated him. Ning Fan had actually solved the 3 questions of Tai Su and obtained the Tai Su Lightning Star. I didn't expect that such an outstanding talent would appear in the Rain World in just 10,000 years. This kid is very good. He has the Wind Mist Finger and the Tai Su Lightning Star. He can help me achieve great things. Hong Yi seemed to be convinced of something. He kept the copper mirror and no longer peeked at Ning Fan. After all, he was unable to continue peeking at Ning Fan. The Black Lightning Tower concealed the heavenly secrets. She, who was just a copper mirror, could not see what Ning Fan was doing. But she didn't think it was necessary. The current Ning Fan had solved the 3 questions of Tai Su, condensed the Tai Su Lightning Star and comprehended the Tai Su Lightning Diagram technique randomly. With his strength, it was more than enough for him to kill his way to the 7th floor of the Black Lightning Tower. In fact, he could even explore the first 10 floors. It was definitely not a problem for Ning Fan to pick the dark golden bamboo leaves. Hong Yi had never thought that the helper she had casually picked up would be such an impressive figure. To her, Ning Fan was of great value. Chapter 4:14. The Sky Thunder Bamboo Pagoda had a total of 100 floors. The pagoda was filled with dead spirits that used thunder to condense souls. Most of them had low intelligence. There were no Void Refinement Realm undead spirits on the first 4 floors. From the 5th floor onwards, Void Refinement Realm undead spirits would appear. However, most of them were Void Glimpse stage lightning spirits. The higher one went, the stronger the dead spirits would be. After reaching the 10th floor, there would be a Void Inquiry stage lightning spirit. Within the 10 levels, there would be no difficulty, but above the 10 levels, it would be difficult. Even though he had experienced the Void Inquiry stage, he was just a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert after all. If he were to face a true Void Inquiry stage expert, he would have no chance of winning. He pressed his palm on the door of the Black Lightning Tower. Lightning flashed and Ning Fan's figure drifted into the tower. He appeared in a black desert on the first floor of the Black Lightning Tower. The desert was boundless and filled with hazy thunder mist. The thunder's spiritual energy here was extremely dense, making it the best place to cultivate thunder techniques. However, it was a pity that Ning Fan did not come here for secluded cultivation. He was in a rush and it was impossible for him to stay here for too long. To his left, he could vaguely sense the fluctuations of the battle through the misty thunder mist. Ning Fan scanned the area with his spirit sense. There were more than 10 undead spirits fighting each other 60,000 li away to the west. The dozen or so dead spirits were roughly humanoid in shape, but they had only one eye and sharp fangs. Their entire bodies were naked and covered with scales. They had no sexual characteristics and were neither male nor female. According to Hong Yi's information, only when the dead spirits broke through the deity transformation realm could they gain intelligence and develop a pair of eyes, basically looking like humans. All of the dead spirits were at least at the nascent soul level. The strongest among them was at the peak of the nascent soul level. However, as long as they didn't break through to the soul formation stage, they wouldn't have any intelligence, and their behavior would be no different from beasts. These dozen or so dead spirits were fighting over the corpse of a soul formation dead spirit. Undead spirits could advance by devouring other corpses. Whoever could devour this soul formation cultivator's corpse would be able to increase their cultivation by leaps and bounds. Undead spirits fighting for corpses. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He took a step forward and appeared 60,000 li away. The smoke dissipated, and he appeared in the middle of the dead spirits. He stepped on a dead body with a cold look in his eyes. Seeing Ning Fan appear out of nowhere, the 10 or so undead spirits thought that he was here to snatch the corpse. All of their eyes were filled with rage. The dead spirits were enraged. They opened their bloody mouths and spat out lightning bolts, letting out earth-shattering roars. Each of the lightning rays was powerful enough to kill an ordinary nascent soul realm cultivator. However, when so many of them struck Ning Fan's body, they disappeared mysteriously. Since Ning Fan possessed the Tai Su lightning star and condensed the lightning diagram, he could even devour the lightning light of the void glimpse stage. Why would he be afraid of the lightning of a mere nascent soul realm cultivator? With a flick of his finger, a blood-colored arc of lightning shot out. In an instant, 10,000 blood-colored lightning bolts shot down. The dozen or so dead spirits had never seen such a scene before, and all of them fled in terror. However, could a mere nascent soul realm cultivator escape from Ning Fan's hands? The answer was no. When the lightning struck, all of the undead spirits were instantly killed, leaving behind a severely injured peak nascent soul realm undead spirit. Ning Fan had purposely not killed it. The undead spirit of Yuan Yen was frightened and his only eye was full of fear. He was not far from the semigod realm and he also had some intelligence. He had lived on the first floor for countless years, but he had never seen any undead spirit with Ning Fan's strength. Even the Lightning Lord of the first floor, who possessed half-step void refinement realm strength, was not as frightening as Ning Fan's. Without giving it any chance to beg for mercy, Ning Fan directly and coldly searched its soul and memory. After all, what he got from Hong Yi was only partial information. In order to obtain accurate information about this place, searching its soul and memory was undoubtedly the fastest way. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan put down the undead spirit of Yuan Yen, who had turned into an idiot. Then he pointed his finger and destroyed it. From the broken memories of the undead spirit, Ning Fan had obtained a lot of information other than the complete map of the first floor. There were 100 floors in the Lightning Tower. The dark golden bamboo leaves on each floor were guarded by the Lightning Lord. The Lightning Lord was the strongest undead spirit on this floor. Undead spirits could not devour spiritual items, but they could use the spiritual chi that the bamboo leaves gave off to cultivate. Therefore, the bamboo leaves on each floor were occupied by the lightning bamboo. If he wanted to obtain the bamboo leaves, he would just have to kill the Lightning Lord. Ning Fan's eyes fell on the corpse of the divine transformation realm undead spirit. He pointed his finger and destroyed the corpse, obtaining a trace of primordial lightning which he refined into his lightning armor. Only divine transformation realm undead spirits had primordial spirits and could produce primordial lightning. A trace of primordial lightning was only enough to improve the lightning armor of the second level of the silver grade by a tiny bit. If he wants to break through to the third level of the silver grade, he would probably have to kill a lot of divine transformation realm undead spirits. Of course, if he kills void refinement realm undead spirits, he would naturally be able to break through to the third level of the silver grade. Perhaps he would only need to devour a trace of void refinement realm primordial lightning to break through to the third level of the silver grade. Other than primordial lightning, there were actually other gains which were beyond Ning Fan's expectation. After killing the undead spirits, there was no Dao fruit or demon core. However, a silver lightning jade that was the size of a fingernail condensed. With just a glance, Ning Fan was certain that even though this silver jade contained a lot of lightning power, it was useless to him. Only the undead spirits in this place could devour it. Even though it had no use for him, he still kept it first. The lightning bamboo on the first floor of the Black Lightning Tower is at the half-step void refinement realm. I can destroy it with just a lift of my palm. Ning Fan took a step forward. After confirming a direction, he moved forward. There was no benefit in killing nascent soul realm undead spirits. If he did not kill them, it would be a waste of time. Once he encounters a divine transformation realm undead spirit, he would kill them with a wave of his hand and devour their primordial lightning mercilessly. Along the way to the end of the eastern region of the first floor, Ning Fan had killed 24 divine transformation realm undead spirits. Only 2 hours had passed. 24 traces of primordial lightning only allowed his silver armor to advance by less than 1/5 to the third level. He would probably need to kill at least 100 divine transformation realm undead spirits to upgrade his lightning armor. Other than primordial lightning, Ning Fan had already obtained 25 pieces of silver jade. At the end of the eastern region was a black bamboo forest. Above the bamboo forest, the thunderstorm did not stop. Inside the thunderstorm, there was a gigantic ferocious beast which gave off a peak divine transformation realm aura force. On top of the ferocious beast's head, a burly man in black robes was sitting cross-legged. He was cultivating while holding a dark golden bamboo leaf. Sensing Ning Fan's arrival, the burly man suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes flashed with ferocious lightning and snorted coldly. "Humph! Human-shaped undead spirit? I've never seen you before. You must be a newly advanced divine transformation realm undead spirit, right? You're just an early divine transformation realm undead spirit. How dare you trespass into my forbidden area? You're courting death. I wonder if your lightning corpse will taste good if I kill you and eat it." The burly man licked his lips and stood up all of a sudden. Without giving Ning Fan any chance to explain himself, he used his 5 fingers to grasp lightning. Traces of silver lightning gathered on his palm and instantly turned into a gigantic silver-winged lightning bird. Then, it flew towards Ning Fan while letting out a shrill cry. The aura force of a half-step void refinement realm expert shook the entire place. The lightning might of the lightning bird was enough to make any peak divine transformation realm expert tremble in fear. He was the Thunderbolt Master. In the first level, he had the power of life and death. Anyone who offended him could be killed. If he wants to devour Ning Fan, why would he need a reason? Ning Fan did not have the mood to talk nonsense with this person. In his eyes, the so-called Lightning Lord of the first floor was just an ant that he could kill with a raise of his hand. Even though the silver-winged lightning bird's aura force was powerful, when it arrived in front of Ning Fan, it exploded without any warning. Before it could even get close to Ning Fan, it was already absorbed and devoured by the lightning diagram. The burly man in black robes was shocked. He was well aware of how powerful his lightning bird technique was. In this first floor of the lightning tower, there was certainly no one who could withstand a single attack from him. You're not an undead spirit of the first floor. You're a half-step void refinement realm expert. You must be an expert from the lower world of the second floor. Ning Fan did not answer him. He just took a step forward. Amidst the 10,000 lightning bolts, he disappeared without a trace, as if he had disappeared from this world. At the next moment, he suddenly appeared in front of the burly man in black robes. He appeared above the ferocious beast's head out of nowhere and threw a punch. His physical body was at the 4th level of the Jade Life realm. In addition to the extreme strength of the corpse devil body, this punch was infinitely close to the attack of the golden body refining realm. The destructive force of his fist light shook heaven and earth, making the burly man in black robes feel like dying. Under Ning Fan's punch, the burly man in black robes felt that he would certainly die. Lightning flashed on both of his fists. He braced himself and clashed against Ning Fan's fist light. However, after just one clash, the bones in both of the burly man's arms were completely shattered. He was sent flying backwards while spurting out blood. His immortal veins were also destroyed. Apparently, he was severely injured by Ning Fan's punch and was already on the verge of death. It's impossible. Even a Void Glimpse stage expert might not have such a strong punch force. You're not a Divine Transformation realm expert. You must be a Void Refinement realm expert. The burly man in black robes was terrified. Where was his usual domineering and arrogant demeanor as the Lightning Lord? He turned into a ray of lightning and fled. He even abandoned his natal beast. Not only did he abandon his pet beast, but he also directly performed a mysterious hand seal to activate the demon core of his pet beast to self-detonate. A dignified peak divine transformation realm giant beast exploded into layers of blood mist. The destructive power of the explosion could even injure a half-step Void Refinement realm expert. This man was truly ruthless. Unfortunately, even if he sacrificed his tamed beast, he still couldn't hurt Ning Fan. In the end, he could not escape. Inside the layers of blood mist, Ning Fan's body was protected by his star power. His eyes flashed with cold light as he pointed at the sky and stopped the burly man's teleportation lightning. His 5 fingers clawed at the air and the lightning around the burly man in black robes suddenly collapsed. His body fell from the sky and his primordial spirit was on the verge of shattering. "Spare me! Upper Cultivator, please spare my life." The burly man in black robes begged for mercy. However, how could Ning Fan spare him? When he wanted to kill Ning Fan, did he ever give Ning Fan the chance to beg for mercy? Rumble. Ning Fan stomped on the ground and directly destroyed the man's physical body. Then, he waved his palm and sucked the man's primordial spirit into his hand. Then, he searched his soul mercilessly. After letting out a series of miserable cries, the burly man's consciousness was gradually erased and he became an idiot. Ning Fan, on the other hand, obtained a large amount of information again. There were even quite a lot of information about the 2nd floor. With a point of his finger, the burly man's primordial spirit was destroyed. A trace of pure silver primordial lightning power that was dyed with gold was devoured by Ning Fan. This trace of half-step Void Refinement realm primordial lightning was at least equivalent to 10 traces of ordinary Divine Transformation realm primordial lightning. In the ruins, a dark golden bamboo leaf gently floated down and landed on Ning Fan's palm. The first leaf was in his hands. Other than the first leaf, Ning Fan also obtained a lightning jade. Even though it was also a silver jade, it was surrounded by faint golden light. Its lightning power was more than 10 times stronger than ordinary silver jades. As for the silver jades, there were a total of 26 of them. Ning Fan's gaze swept across the ruins of the battlefield. Other than the corpses of beasts and the sea of blood, there were no other spoils of war. He did not stay any longer. At the end of the bamboo forest, he found the teleportation formation that led to the 2nd floor and stepped into it. 2 hours later, Ning Fan flattened the 2nd floor of the Lightning Tower and killed 35 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits, including the Lightning Lord. Another 2 hours later, he broke through the 3rd floor and killed 41 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. 3 hours later, he flattened the 4th floor and killed another 55 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. As for the dark golden bamboo leaves, he obtained 4 of them. As for the silver jades with lightning power, he obtained 157 of them. After devouring 157 traces of Divine Transformation Realm primordial lightning, His primordial lightning armor had broken through to the 3rd level of the silver armor. It could now defend against late divine transformation realm attacks. As he was about to enter the 5th floor, Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. In a place with void refinement realm existences, he naturally would not dare to be careless. After stepping into the teleportation formation, a flash of lightning flashed and Ning Fan appeared on the 5th floor of the lightning tower. He appeared on a barren desert. As soon as he appeared, he immediately sensed that there was a strong qi hiding 100 zhang away from him. Who's hiding here? The divine star on Ning Fan's glabella flashed. The might of the Tai Su realm spread out and forcefully pushed an old man who was hiding in the void out of the void. After sensing that old man's cultivation base, Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. This old man was actually a mid-void refinement realm old monster. After being pushed out of the void by Ning Fan, the old man opened his sleepy eyes and yawned. Then he scolded angrily. Damn it! Who's so bored as to disturb my sleep? I am Lei Shi. I'm resting here just fine. Who's the one making a ruckus outside? Chapter 415. Ning Fan was stunned. This old man who was constantly cursing had such a strong aura force. He was actually a void inquiry stage old monster. However, judging from this person's words, this person had been hiding here before and had no ill intentions towards him. He had only been sleeping. Thinking about it carefully, it made sense. The landing point of Ning Fan's teleportation from the 4th floor to the 5th floor was random. How was it possible for someone to hide and ambush him in advance? This old man was just sleeping in this place. That was all. He did not have the intention to attack Ning Fan at all. The old man could only blame himself for choosing the wrong place to sleep, as he had to choose the place where Ning Fan landed. Any cultivator who had just arrived at a certain place and suddenly discovered an expert hiding beside them would feel nervous. Ning Fan did not directly kill the elderly man. Instead, he forced him to reveal his concealment. That was already giving him a lot of face. Why would a void inquiry stage old monster appear on the 5th floor of the lightning tower? According to Hong Yi's information and the memories of the lightning lord of the 4th floor, there shouldn't be any void inquiry stage experts in the first 10 floors of the lightning tower. Could it be that this old man was an expert who had descended from the 10th level and above? Is his name Lei Shi? While Ning Fan was deep in thought, he activated the lightning star and lightning diagram to guard against any sudden attacks from the elderly man. A void inquiry stage old monster could fight against several void glimpse stage experts. Even though he had killed 3 void glimpse stage experts in succession, he had absolutely no chance of winning against a void inquiry stage expert. At most, he could use the heaven-deceiving cloak to conceal himself and protect himself. Surprisingly, even though the old man's dream was disrupted by Ning Fan and he was filled with resentment, after he gave Ning Fan a deep look, all of his killing intent was dispelled. Ning Fan was observing the elderly man while the latter was also observing him. He sensed a hint of danger from Ning Fan's lightning star. He did not know that it was the Tai Su lightning star, but he knew that it had a heaven-defying restraining effect on him. The elderly man rolled his eyes. After seeing Ning Fan's strength, he actually did not want to be his enemy anymore. The old man cracked open his mouth, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. His smile was rather wretched as he cupped his fists towards Ning Fan. Little friend, you're not weak? Hee hee, you're a dead spirit cultivator from the lower 4 floors? I'm Lei Shi from the 11th floor. How about we become friends? 11th floor. Ning Fan's eyes narrowed. This old man was indeed an expert from the 10th floor. This person was angry at first, but after examining him, he was smiling and amiable. He was probably shocked by him. This person was rather powerful. Since he did not plan to attack, Ning Fan would not take the initiative to attack a mid-void refinement realm cultivator either. As for the old man's suggestion to make friends, Ning Fan was non-committal and cupped his fists. Farewell. After saying his goodbyes, he was actually about to leave. Ning Fan had no intention of befriending the old man. He had only come here for the Thunder Leaf and did not want to cause any trouble. Are you collecting dark gold bamboo leaves? The old man's eyes suddenly flashed, and all of the wretched look on his face disappeared. Ning Fan did not answer. His eyes became serious again. He was secretly surprised. How did this old man know that he was collecting dark golden bamboo leaves? Don't be nervous. This old man just smelled the scent of bamboo leaves from your body. That's all. Hee, this old man's nose has always been very sensitive, and not only did this old man smell the bamboo leaves, he even smelled the scent of thunder jades. 157 silver jades. Among them, 4 of them have almost reached the standard of golden jade. Little friend, you are very rich, hee. As soon as the old man mentioned the word money, his eyes suddenly turned fiery. I don't understand what you mean. Ning Fan's tone was cold. Inwardly, however, he was a little surprised. This old man is really good. He can even smell how many silver jades I have. Thunder jades are the supreme treasures that undead spirits use to increase their cultivation base. They are also the currency of the 10th floor and above. On the 11th floor, those who possess 100 silver jades are all void refinement realm experts. Judging from your expression, you don't seem to have heard that thunder jades are the currency of the upper floors? The old man was slightly surprised. It's my first time coming to the 5th floor. No wonder. No wonder. So that's how it is. Hee. The old man rubbed his hands and his mind was racing. He could see that Ning Fan's cultivation base was at the half-step void refinement realm, but he only treated him as an undead spirit. Naturally, he could not understand why a divine transformation realm undead spirit with 157 silver jades would not devour them. To an undead spirit, 157 silver jades was an extremely large amount of magic power. Or could it be that Ning Fan did not have the intention to devour the silver jades in the first place and he was just using them as currency? However, Ning Fan had never been to the 10th floor and above. It was very strange that he did not know the rules of the upper floors. The old man became even more puzzled, but he no longer thought about these details. At this moment, he only had one thought in his mind. Ning Fan had quite a lot of money. He had 157 silver jades in total and his strength was not bad. Ning Fan could become one of his customers. Lei Shi was a merchant. A merchant who roamed the 11th floor. What he was most passionate about was to exchange the useless trash of the upper floors for thunder jades from the experts of the lower floors. Of course, the transaction also depended on the target. If Ning Fan was slightly weaker, Lei Shi could directly kill him and snatch his jade. Why would he need to make a transaction? However, Ning Fan was able to force him out of his invisibility and gave him a sense of danger. This made Lei Shi rather fearful and he did not have the intention to look down on Ning Fan at all. In that case, it would be safer for him to conduct a legitimate transaction. It would be best if he did not become Ning Fan's enemy. This old man is Lei Shi. How should I address you, little friend? Zhou. Oh, it's little friend Zhou. Little friend, you have quite a lot of money. Are you interested in buying some things? I'm a merchant and I have quite a lot of good things with me. All of them were exchanged from the 11th floor. Perhaps there might be something that you need. Buy your things? What do you have? Ning Fan was slightly stunned. He had obtained a lot of thunder jades from killing the undead spirits. However, these thunder jades were useless to him. As it turned out, the thunder jades that were completely useless to him could also be used to buy things? That would be great. As soon as Lei Shi saw that Ning Fan was interested, he immediately revealed a greedy smile. He knew that business had come to him. He untied his storage pouch and took out some miscellaneous items. There was no lack of magic treasures, pills, and cultivation methods. Undead spirits did not know how to refine weapons or concoct pills. These pills and magic treasures belonged to the dead. Most of the magic treasures were damaged and their power was greatly reduced. Many of the pills had expired and their medicinal power was lost. However, to undead spirits, these items were extremely rare and precious. Cultivation methods, in particular, were even more precious. To low-level undead spirits, a good cultivation method could totally help them break through to a high level. Unfortunately, None of these items could catch Ning Fan's attention. He was not an undead spirit but an ordinary cultivator. He did not need some broken cultivation methods, damaged magic treasures, and expired pills at all. When Lei Shi saw Ning Fan's eyes scanning through the pills and magic treasures without any reluctance, he was slightly surprised. However, there was also admiration in his eyes. He did not even take a liking to these good items. Ning Fan really has a high standard. Perhaps he is an expert. Lei Shi thought to himself. If Ning Fan is an expert, I might have to take out some good items to sell to Ning Fan. Just as this thought rose in his mind, he was nearly choked to death by Ning Fan's words. You still have primordial lightning? Ning Fan's eyes lit up. He saw tens of primordial lightning in a sealed state in a jade box. These primordial lightning were good items to cultivate the primordial lightning armor. Of course I have primordial lightning. You like this? Lei Shi's eyes revealed a strange expression. Faintly, there was also a hint of disdain. What kind of bullshit expert is he? He doesn't know anything at all. He doesn't like magic treasures and pills, but he likes trash like primordial lightning. What kind of bullshit judgment does he have? In Lei Shi's eyes, primordial lightning was trash. It was pure trash. Due to the special identity of undead spirits, they could not devour primordial lightning. Normally, only a few undead spirits who practiced uncommon cultivation methods could use primordial lightning. Other than this, primordial lightning only had one other useless use. If an undead spirit pays a huge price, it could extract a trace of undead spirit lightning power from primordial lightning and devour it. However, this trace of undead spirit lightning power was only equivalent to 1% of the lightning power of a lightning jade. Paying such a huge price to obtain 1% of the lightning power of a lightning jade was really not worth it. No one would do such a foolish thing. Therefore, primordial lightning was trash to undead spirits. Since Ning Fan liked trash and wanted to buy it, Lei Shi naturally underestimated Ning Fan. How much are you selling primordial lightning for? 3 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Although Lei Shi's heart was filled with disdain, his face was wearing a forthright and generous smile. Selling 3 pieces of trash for 1 silver jade was already a sky-high price. He obviously wanted to scam Ning Fan. Besides, Lei Shi was certain that Ning Fan was a rookie who had never seen the world. It was very easy for him to scam him. 3 lightnings and 1 jade? Ning Fan was slightly surprised. Killing a divine transformation realm dead soul would give him a bolt of primordial lightning and a lightning jade. Normally, primordial lightning and lightning jades should be of equal value. However, Lei Shi's asking price of 3 primordial thunders for 1 piece of silver jade was a little too cheap. Ning Fan could not help but let his imagination run wild. With just a glance, he could tell that primordial lightning was not as precious as silver jade in Lei Shi's eyes. Then he looked at Lei Shi's expression. Although it was well hidden, there was still a hint of disdain, as if he was mocking Ning Fan for buying trash. Ning Fan guessed inwardly. Could it be that among the undead spirits, primordial lightning is not very useful and is extremely cheap? 10 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan tried to bargain. What? 10 thunders and 1 jade? Little friend, selling 3 primordial lightning for 1 silver jade is already very cheap. You're selling it at a loss. How can you still have the heart to bargain with me? Lei Shi was stunned. He did not expect that Ning Fan would bargain with him. 20 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan lowered the price again. With 20 thunders for 1 jade, this old man is really suffering a loss. This is just like asking for my life. No way. I can't accept this price. 30 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan became even more certain that primordial lightning was extremely worthless to undead spirits. Wait, little friend, let's discuss this. Why don't we go back to the previous price? 10 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. What do you think? Lei Shi's eyes were filled with anxiety. Ning Fan was haggling too fiercely. The price was getting lower and lower. 40, Wait. 30 traces of primordial lightning for 1 jade. Deal. Lei Shi finally made the final decision. He was really afraid of Ning Fan. If he continues to bargain with him, perhaps even 100 traces of primordial lightning would not be able to be sold for 1 silver jade in the end. Lei Shi stared at Ning Fan deeply. He could already tell that Ning Fan was not a fool and would not be tricked easily. However, he could not understand why an undead spirit with a normal intelligence would be willing to use the incomparably precious lightning jades to buy a pile of trash. Forget it. What's the point of thinking about this? Lei Shi shook his head. After all, primordial lightning was just trash to him. As long as he could sell it to Ning Fan and earn some money, he would not care about what use Ning Fan had for it. I have a total of 1,200 traces of primordial lightning. That's 40 silver jades. Lei Shi passed a storage pouch to Ning Fan and said with a smile while rubbing his hands. If you have more primordial lightning in the future, sell all of them to me. Ning Fan paid 40 silver jades and smiled in satisfaction. Don't worry. I will return to the 11th floor now and purchase as much primordial lightning as I can. I will sell all of them to you. This is my Thunder Sound Jade. If I manage to purchase enough primordial lightning, I will certainly contact you again. The elderly man patted his chest and guaranteed. With Lei Shi's connections, it was definitely not difficult to purchase some primordial lightning from the 11th floor. Moreover, the purchase price was definitely lower than the price of 100 lightning jades. As for trash, he could probably get some from many places. Being able to sell trash like primordial lightning to Ning Fan at a high price of 30 lightning jades for 1 jade, Lei Shi was very satisfied. He decided to buy more trash. Perhaps Ning Fan liked to buy trash? Lei Shi's mood was also Ning Fan's mood. To Lei Shi, primordial thunder was trash. To Ning Fan, the lightning jades were the useless trash. Be it silver-grade lightning jades or gold-grade lightning jades, Ning Fan could not devour any of them like the undead spirits. Ning Fan had definitely made a profit by exchanging 40 pieces of trash for 1,200 traces of primordial lightning. If Jiang Yi could refine all 1,200 traces of essence lightning, his thunder armor could easily break through to the 4th tier. He might even be able to advance from silver armor to gold armor. If he were to collect 1,200 traces of primordial lightning by himself, he would need to kill 1,200 divine transformation realm experts all by himself. Leaving aside the danger and difficulty, killing 1,200 soul formation cultivators would require a huge amount of time to find them. How could he have the time? Lei Shi, this profiteer is quite useful to me. With him around, I don't have to spend so much effort to look for primordial lightning. Ning Fan muttered to himself. His gaze briefly swept past Lei Shi's miscellaneous items before a flash appeared in his eyes again. In the pile of miscellaneous goods, he saw a ball of dark green cold air. That ball of cold energy was placed in the corner by Lei Shi like it was trash, as if he didn't care about it at all. However, to Ning Fan, this item was definitely not trash. Heavenly Frost Cold Chi. Ning Fan was slightly surprised. He did not expect to find a type of Heavenly Frost Cold Chi in this place. Since he came across it, he naturally had to buy it. However, his expression did not change at all. Instead, he pointed at the Heavenly Frost Cold Chi and asked casually, "What is this? How much is it?" "Oh, little friend, you're asking about this? This is a type of 5th grade Cold Chi. As for its specific type, I don't really know. Little friend, you should know that cold chi belongs to the water element while we are all undead spirits. We were born in lightning towers and our bodies belong to the lightning element. To us, treasures of the water element are completely useless. Little friend, do you want to buy it?" Lei Shi's eyes lit up. As expected, his judgment was right. Ning Fan was a strange person. Even though he was not easy to scam, he loved to buy all kinds of trash. What use is a 5th grade cold chi to undead spirits? Only an idiot would use lightning jades to exchange for cold chi. However, if Ning Fan wants to be an idiot, Lei Shi would have no objection at all. Since he could tell that Ning Fan wanted this cold chi, even if it was worthless, Lei Shi would still boast about it to the heavens. Little friend, you have good eyesight. Even though this cold chi is useless to undead spirits like us, it can be refined into magic treasures and slightly increase their power. However, this item is the relic of my beloved wife. It always makes me think of her when I see it. I really can't bear to sell this item. Unfortunately, little friend really wants it. Thus, I have no choice but to reluctantly part with it. The friendship price is 20 pieces of silver jade. 5 pieces of silver jade. Ning Fan said indifferently, ignoring Lei Shi's long-winded speech. Little friend, selling this cold chi for 5 pieces of silver jade is really a little low. 3 pieces of silver jade. Ning Fan began to lower the price. 3 pieces of silver jade. The elderly man became smarter this time. If he continues to compete, this cold chi would never be able to be sold for a single piece of silver jade. After all, it was just trash. It was already worth it to be able to sell it for 3 pieces of silver jade. Why would he not sell it? How could Lei Shi not sell it? He became even more determined that he must buy countless pieces of trash in the future and sell all of them to Ning Fan, the king of trash. Ning Fan paid the money and kept the heavenly cold chi. Being despised by Lei Shi made him feel uncomfortable. However, seeing that Lei Shi had sold him quite a lot of good items, he decided not to be calculative with him. 40 pieces of silver jade in exchange for 1,200 pieces of primordial lightning. He had made a huge profit. A piece of silver jade in exchange for a type of heavenly cold chi. If the cultivators in the outside world find out about this good thing, they would certainly rush here to exchange for the cold chi regardless of the cost. Other than the undead spirits who lived in the Black Lightning Tower like Lei Shi, who else would treat the heavenly cold chi as trash? The heavenly cold chi was too much of a waste. Hee. I'm leaving now. When I find some good stuff, I'll come and trade with little friend. Lei Shi smiled wretchedly and left in a flash. Ning Fan ignored him. He just stared at the ball of dark green cold chi in his palm and tried to identify it carefully. The heavenly cold chi is ranked second. Long emotion tear? A tear can make love long and a tear can cut off love. It is said that if a cultivator refines this cold chi, their Tao heart will be as firm as a rock. They will be like a young lady who longs for love for a long time and will not be disturbed by anything. With its miraculous effect of consolidating one's Tao heart, this item can be sold for at least 500 million immortal jade in the endless sea. What a joke! That Lei Shi really doesn't know what's good for him. The saying, buying a casket and returning the pearls, is exactly what he is talking about. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.